And I sat there and everything was spinning, and I'm laying on the door like this at this point, and I'm like, my eyes are rolling in the back of my head. I just saw you shove her down these stairs, and he's just like, no, I didn't. She's like, I'm calling the cops, and he takes off and he runs away. And I go like this, and my whole thing's just bloody. I was like in the corner of the room by the glass door, and I'm in like fetal position.
I'm surprised that she's alive to tell the story. This is absolutely horrifying.
This is one of my best friends, Brennan.
Is he a gay guy?
A little side story, Brennan is a gay man.
That's the only fun time we've ever had in this video. The rest of it is almost violently depressing.
I'm gonna take a break for a second, guys. This is a lot.
Some people aren't for this world. You know what I mean? All right, let's get this going. Somebody sent me this situation the other day from this person, Kayla, Malec, and I want to take a look at it. I'm not going to show you guys the TikToks right now, but there's a lot of credibility to it. Physically seeing the TikToks, I'm pretty sure she's telling the truth. Also, I have weird insider information. Cannot divulge too much information about it. Somebody that I trust a lot was talking about how somebody that they know very closely knows the guy who did this, and apparently he talked about how he would get really drunk and you know, engage in physical violence but not really remember it afterwards. That's all I can really divulge. So there's a lot of credibility with this situation going into it right off the bat. So I'm tend to believe what she's saying before I even really see anything. So yeah, that's kind of the start of that. Let's get it going. This is He Doesn't Love You Part 1. Seems like this is more of a story for other people, like a warning kind of story.
This is probably going to be one of the, I don't even know how to start this. I'm gonna try my hardest to get through this. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
It's got to be tough talking about this. I'm always hesitant when people talk about like their traumatic experiences on the internet, because sometimes that can contribute to more traumatic experiences. I'm not saying she shouldn't be. You know, I'm fortunate enough to not have a traumatic experience. You know, at least nothing super crazy. But it's just something to mention to people. You know, if you know, that's it. Just wanted the people to keep that in mind. You don't want to hurt yourself in the long run by expressing something like this mentally, you know.
I'm trying not to cry right now.
So apparently this is a girl that we saw on a poster in a window at the Spencer's Mall. Really? Interesting.
5 minutes. For the past 9 months, I have been in arguably one of the worst mentally, physically abusive relationships I could ever imagine. Something I never thought that I would be experiencing, things I've only seen on TV, things that I've heard stories about, and things that I just knew I would never let happen to me. And I've been going through it for the past 9 months.
That's brutal.
This is probably one of the hardest things I've had to like talk about in my life. There's not a single person in my life that knows the full story. There's not, my parents don't know, my sister doesn't know, my best friends don't know. Nobody knows the true extent of what I was put through. And I ask the universe every day, why me? Like, why did I go through this? Like, why me? Why was I put through this? Why me?
You know what's like weird? I remember I saw like a TikTok yesterday, so it's kind of like fresh in my mind. But you know, we see the it's all men narrative so much. Like, you know, every man is complicit for the actions of one man. And it can be frustrating as a man. I understand that. Like, it can be frustrating to hear that. Like, all men are bad. But it's like, oh, well, I'm not. But it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like, especially as I get older, I think it's time to save that energy for the men that engage in, like, the abusive behavior. rather than getting angry at some people that maybe are not always being as productive as they could be with their expression of their problems, you know? Because it's just kind of disgusting. I mean, you're born into this world as somebody who is more physically domineering than someone else, and then you use that to be harmful to another person. It's kind of disgusting. I mean, not really kind of. I mean, it's absolutely is disgusting. But I don't know, man. I think that maybe we should start shifting our frustrations with different people rather than sitting here and getting angry at some, you know, women that maybe are expressing it not perfectly. Seems a little more productive use of the time, you know?
And I truly think that it's to help other people. I think I was put in this position to not share my story, but to share yours. At the end of the day, this isn't about me. This is such a bigger picture to what millions of women go through. This is not my story. This is your story. This is not about me. This is about you. This is about us as people. And I hope that this can help somebody, because honestly, I don't want to cry. If 6 months ago I had seen a video like this, I would have saved my life. It would have saved my life. If I had seen a video like this 6 months ago, if I seen this video, sorry, I have a little whiteboard of all the important dates so I don't miss.
That's like the exact same whiteboard my wife has. It's kind of funny.
Speak.
There are parts of this video that might get me banned. All right. Well, if we get to those points, then I might just switch over and just do YouTube streaming then.
I had seen a video like this. Whoa. I don't even know if I could do this. I don't even know if I could do this. Hold on. Sorry. I just went and grabbed some water. But I just know that if I had seen this, if I had seen a video like this 6 months ago, it would have saved my life. It would have, I can't express how much a video like this would have saved me. So all I'm hoping, and the reason that I do think I was put through this, because as many times as I can run my brain through why me, why did this happen to me, why did this person do this to me, the only thing I can think of is genuinely to help somebody else, because I know for a fucking fact that if I saw this shit, it would have saved my life. So as I go through this story, as I explain the past 9 months of my life, please know that if you have experienced any of this, he does not love you. He does not love you. You may think he does, but he doesn't. And I wish somebody could have done this for me and saved me. This was one of the most isolated times in my life. Like, oh God, I feel... I'm worried about like how much I'm talking in the beginning, but who fucking cares? Like, I don't fucking care. I've never talked about this from start to finish before and gotten into all the details. I don't even know when I'm gonna post this because I want to make sure that I'm mentally ready. And I did think that I was mentally ready to sit down and record this video because it's been about a month since we've broken up. But as I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm ready. Because I have to sit here and relive every single moment. Like
Yep. That's the traumatic part of the situation. That's one of them. You know, not just expressing it to everybody, but also having to relive it while you talk about it again. It's one of the reasons why it makes it difficult for people to go to police sometimes. I mean, you should if you can, you know, but that's one of the reasons why, because it's just like too much. It's too hurtful just to go to the fucking police, just to, you know, tell your story sometimes. You know, I would generally say go to the police. You'll regret it if you don't. But it's kind of one of the, you know, aspects of the situation. You know, you're somebody that's abusive to another person. You traumatize them, and then there's times where they don't feel as comfortable going to the police because it will just make them relive that tragedy that you placed upon them, you know?
Okay.
So it's disgusting.
I just have to keep telling myself there's no perfect way to do this. There's no perfect way to explain what happened to me. And, but yeah, this is for you.
Yeah, I know he got arrested. My understanding is that he... I don't know how much I'm allowed to say from my insider source, but apparently he's out on bail. That's all I'll say. You know, and he's pushing a narrative that she's just trying to go after him, which, based on the insider information I have, like I said, I don't think that's true.
You watching this?
But you know what? I could be wrong.
He does not love you. This is not normal behavior. It will not change. It will never change. It will not change until you leave.
True. I mean, that's probably part of the scary thing, though. It's like even leaving. I mean, you're probably terrified. You know, it sounds like ridiculous, but like I get, I get frustrated about my car. You know, it's something as simple as like your car breaking down, and then you get it fixed, but you still have anxiety that's going to break down again. I mean, imagine that, but amplified with somebody who's in like a domestically abusive situation. I mean, you're probably going to feel it even worse than that. Like you're always going to have that that thought in your head, you know.
If I would have stayed in this situation, I would have died. If my best friend was not home for 2 of these times, I would not have woken up the next morning by the hands of somebody who looked me in the eyes and said they loved me, and cared about me, and would never hurt me. I would not be sitting here today if I had stayed and if my best friend didn't come into that room. I wouldn't be here today. And that's genuinely why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I never want anybody to ever have to experience something like this. And if me telling my story can get anybody, any of you out of a situation like this, to open your eyes to realize that this is not normal, this is not normal, this is not normal, then I have done something right. And I think I thank God every day that he did this to me and not somebody else. Because I'm glad I was able to make it out. I just don't want to say to anybody, if I could just get through somebody's head, or even if you are not even dating somebody right now, but you get into a relationship in the future and these things happen, please leave. You will not live. If he can hit you, he will kill you.
I mean, that's a good point. You know, I'm a guy that has like anger problems. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not thrilled with myself, but I've never hit like a woman, you know. I've never had the ability or the capacity to hit a woman, you know. Or really, I mean, well, I guess when I was a kid, I got into fights, but really anybody. Like, I'm not exactly too keen on the concept of, you know, hitting people. So, yeah, I mean, if he has it in you to hit you, regardless of whether it's when he's in his regular mind or if he's drunk or anything, you know, you should run because he'll do it again. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? They say that cheaters always cheat again. I mean, if you're willing to hit a girl, hit a person, you're probably going to do it again. So it's not really behavior that's going to change. I mean, at least in my opinion. So.
I can't express it enough. Okay. Throughout this story, I'm gonna try to go from start to finish. This is my story. I am telling nothing. I am telling nothing but the God honest truth. Everything that is said in this video has receipts, has photos, has videos, proof to back it up, witnesses, call records to to the domestic violence hotline. Nothing said in this video is false. Everything I'm saying in this video is not alleged, is not speculation, but is true, honest fact of what happened throughout these 9 months. So
she finally filed a restraining order, but he has a gun, and sometimes the restraining order just angers them more. Yeah, I mean, that is unfortunately the way it works. I mean, unfortunately, the law is like reactive and not proactive in many instances, and this seems to be one of those instances, unfortunately. But just in general, like, you know, who's to say? But I don't want to like stoke any anger or any fears or anything.
I'm just gonna start from the beginning. I'm sorry if I keep looking over here. I have a whiteboard of a lot of major dates written down here, just so I don't skip anything that might be important. I'm sure I'm going to skip a lot of important things. I'm sure I'm gonna skip a lot of little details or little stories that aren't little in the grand scheme of things, but you know, when there's so many, yeah, I might skip over some things, not on purpose. It's just, you know, your brain blocks a lot of things out. Oh, like I literally just remembered something I have to write down. So this all started near the end of May. I had just moved to California with my best friend Emma, and we were living our life single, and she ends up meeting somebody, and he has a friend, and they were like, you guys should come down to Nashville for Memorial Weekend. Like, it'll be so fun. Like, we can all hang out, you know, a little boat weekend. And at this time, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I had actually just gotten out of a 3-year relationship, like, almost a year before this. Not even, maybe, it doesn't matter, like 7 months before this. I just was really enjoying the single life. Like, I remember not wanting to date anybody. So I was going into this as like, oh, hang out for the weekend, hook up, and then I'll never talk to him again. Like, that was my mindset 100%. So
yeah, that's kind of how my wife and I kind of got together. You know, you find it when you're not looking for it, right?
FaceTiming this guy.
I mean, in my instance, it went very well. My wife is very good to me and has made me a better man, but, you know.
For about a week, and then I end up booking a flight, and I fly down to Nashville with my best friend. We spent 4 days together, and it was just great. And I, near the end of the trip, had caught feelings when I didn't want to. But I just genuinely fell head over heels for this guy. He was just like this fratty, like, the best way to describe him, he was just like this frat guy, you know? And he didn't care about anybody, but for some reason he cared about me. And it made
so he's like an immature young fuckboy, right?
me feel like the most special person in the room.
I mean, I've been there, you know?
Like, knowing that he could have anybody he wanted, and he would tell me these stories of how he had over 100 bodies and he was just this player and da-da-da, but he said,
I feel like it shouldn't matter if she's making money off these videos. Yeah, I don't care if she makes money off the videos at all. It's whatever. She's a content creator, and she also happened to be abused. I mean, if she wants to make a video about it and monetize it, I don't care. Like, that doesn't matter to me. It sounds like she's credible, especially from what I've heard, you know, so.
Sitting here with me on this houseboat, you know, he's posting me on his story. And it just made me feel really special for these 4 days. And it made me feel really important and wanted. And a huge factor before this, off topic, I'm going to pause this here. I was just in a very fragile state during this time, because about a month prior to this, about 2 months prior to this, I had found out I was pregnant, and I had
from him
had to go through an abortion.
Oh, from, I guess, the ex. Is that what? Jesus Christ.
And it was one of the most traumatizing things in my life, and that is not what this story is about.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think people like to think that getting an abortion is like this silly little easy thing to do. Like, oh, how could you, blah, blah, blah. It's like this easy thing, like girls are, you know, having abortions, like they're going out to dinner. I mean, they're that expensive, but at least when I take my wife out to dinner, it's comparable. But it's not. It's a very difficult decision to make. And adding on, like, you know, heavy legal barriers that are unreasonable, it's unnecessary, you know. I believe in, you know, first term abortion for the most part, second or third based on specifics, you know, based on, you know, potential other aspects, you know, threat or harm to the mother's life or the potential child's life. But it's a hard decision to make, man. I wouldn't really want to get too involved with limiting someone's ability to make that decision either.
But I was just very fragile, because that was my last experience with a guy, was getting pregnant, having an abortion, going through it alone, and just all this shit. So I was just like in a very fragile state, and I'm not trying to like pity myself here. I'm just like honestly saying, like, the fact that this guy was just making me feel the way he did just felt 10 times better than it normally would have, because I was just like so fragile. And I remember the first day I met him, like I told him all that stuff. I was like, I just went through an abortion. Like, I'm going through a lot of shit.
Damn.
And we just sat there and cried to each other. And I don't know. Moral of the story, I just fell head over heels for this guy. So after about 4 days, we end up flying from Nashville back to California. And I was like, I want to see him again. And he had told me that, so I had flown back home to California on like a Tuesday. And the following Sunday after, so I went there from like a Thursday to a Tuesday, got back home on Tuesday to California. And then he had told me that on that Sunday of like that coming weekend, he was going to be going to court for some legal things. He didn't know how much time he'd be getting in jail.
I wonder what it was that he was going to court for.
he was just in some legal trouble, and he had a court date, and he was going to find out how much time he was going to have in jail. It could range anywhere from like 2 days to 2 years. Like, we had no idea. So I knew that, like, oh, this
I'm sorry, what?
might be my... He was just in some legal trouble, and he had a court date, and he was going to find out how much time he was going to have in jail. It could range anywhere from like 2 days to 2 years. Like,
Damn, I mean, that's that's a hell of a red flag. But you know what? Okay, Jesus Christ, doesn't make her it her fault at all. But he went to jail for DUI. Oh, okay. Still, fucking what a piece of scumbag shit.
He had no idea. So I knew that, like, oh, this might be my last time seeing him. And so I'm sitting there the day we flew back, and this is the decision that changed my life. Instead of, it's crazy, like, this one decision genuinely changed my fucking life. I sat there and I was like, should I fly back down for the weekend before he, you know, goes to his court and finds out what's happening and see him one last time? Or do I stay home and leave it as, like, it was just this hookup with a fun guy? But I had really fallen for him, so I booked a ticket, and 2 days after coming back home, that Thursday or Friday, I had flown back down, got an Airbnb, and I was going to see him for one final time. So we spent that whole weekend together. Once I flew down, I got my hair done, everything to look all good for him. I get down there, and it's like the sparks are even bigger this time. He picked us up. I had gotten us an Airbnb. We spent the whole weekend just same thing, cliff jumping, swimming.
She got the Airbnb. See, this is why you can't give poor men a chance, guys. Okay, they're pieces of shit.
Just having a good weekend, because he didn't know how long he was going to be going to jail for, or if he was going to be going to jail, and I didn't know either, and I had really caught feelings for him. So then Sunday comes around, or Monday, I'm not sure exactly what day it was. He had his court hearing, and so I go to court with him, and they sentence him to 22 days, and then he's free. He's out. So
okay.
I gave him a hug, and we went back.
I don't know, man. I feel like drunk driving goes hand in hand with, you know, drunk abuse. It's not her fault at all, especially since she's like 20 years old. I'm just saying, like, Jesus Christ, what kind of a fucking person?
Back home, he had like a few hours before he had to turn himself in. We took a nap, and
I'm just happy that I am a giggly drunk. You know? And
I told him I was going to wait for him, and that I would answer every time he called me on the jail phone, whatever. And he was like, that's fine, cool, deal. I'll see you when I'm out. So he ends up going to jail. I fly back home to California that night, and I am just like so upset. I'm like, dude, this guy that I really like is in jail. Which honestly was probably the universe's way of being like, So he's gone for 22.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? I've made plenty of dumb fucking decisions in my life that aren't ideal. So, you know, it's easy to say hindsight is 2020, but you know what I mean? Like, I'll say one thing, and I know this might sound, maybe it sounds like a quote, but there is something to be said about being the kind of person, you know, that can try to see the good in people, you know? It's like, oh, well, he made a mistake. He got drunk, yada, 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 yada. You know, trying to see the good in them. But sometimes sometimes your red flag detectors, you know, you gotta listen to them.
2 days. And not that this matters. We weren't dating or anything, but that whole time I was loyal. Every single time he answered the jail phone, I answered. I literally have the Tennessee jail phone number saved in my phone as Jail Rooney. So that every time Jail Rooney's calling, and I'd press 1 or 2, whatever number it was, and it'd be like, you're speaking to da-da-da-da, and I'd answer, and I did not miss a single phone call. I put over $500 on the jail phone just so I could talk to him.
Jesus Christ.
Whatever. So 22 days goes by pretty fast, and I end up booking a flight down so that I can be there to pick him up from jail. So I fly down to Nashville, and one of his friends picks me up from the airport, and we are driving to the jail to go pick him up. We get there, he comes out, everything's good, gives me a big hug, and I'm just like so happy, you know? He's free. So we end up staying at his friend's house, and my friend Emma ends up flying down that night to Tennessee to hang out with us. And so it's all of us at the place again. And so this was June 24th is the day that he was let out of jail, and I picked him up and flew down and all of that at once. And this was the first time that he had shown me a quite visible red flag that I chose to ignore. So that day we kind of just are drinking and hanging out. We go out to dinner, and, you know, things are fine. And we end up going back to the house, and we're laying in bed talking, and he looks at me and he's like, you fucked my best friend.
What?
And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he just goes on this whole rant, and he's like crying to me and getting very like vocally up. And at this
so he's gaslighting her. I see.
point in my life, I had never even been called a bitch by a past relationship. I had never been called a single name by a past relationship. I had never had a...
So did she actually do it and just like not know it was the best friend, or is he just saying these things out of some insecurity or in some way to gaslight her into making her feel like she owes him something? Right? That's like part of the Andrew Tate playbook. Unironically, that's like legitimately part of it, is to make a claim, an outrageously wrong claim, and to gaslight somebody. And if they're well-mannered, like a normal person, they would feel like guilty about it, especially if you're in like a vulnerable state. And they would be like, no, I didn't do that. I want to prove myself to you. Is that what's happening?
Man honestly talked to me in any type of like necessarily disrespectful way. Like a man had never calling me like a bitch, a cunt, a whore, nothing to my face, ever.
Sorry, that's let me hold on a second. Okay.
Ever. Or even like raise their voice at me, like really looking back at it. Like I had never had that happen. So he's like raising his voice at me and he's just accusing me of cheating on him. And I'm like, dude, I just picked you up from jail. Like I just spent $700 to...
Shit, I would have cheated on someone in jail, you know what I'm saying? Like that early in the relationship, even if she had fucked another guy. I don't know, who gives a shit? You were in jail.
Fly down, pick you up from jail. Like what? Like it was just, I don't know. It was like weird. He was just like accusing me of it. And it turns into this whole thing of he just doesn't even want to sleep with me. And it's our first night back. And it was just so weird. And he was just nonstop.
Maybe he met a guy in jail, you know?
Accusing me of cheating on him. And also at this point, I had never even been accused of cheating on a guy because I don't do that. So I'm just like, I don't know. It was like my first time seeing a different side of him. I don't think that night that he called me a bitch. I don't think he had called me a name, but he had raised his voice, was yelling at me, and was accusing me of fucking his friends. And I was just like, what the hell? And it just made no sense because I had just flown across the country to get him out of jail, to pick him up. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, I was confused. And I really had thought that it was just, you know, he's out of jail right now. He's just settling back in. He's
probably... I mean, you'd think he would be even better spirits. He just got out of jail, you know?
Probably overthinking a lot, you know. I just kind of brushed it off. I shouldn't have, but I just kind of brushed it off. I was like, whatever. In hindsight, huge red flag. So after that, the rest of my time in Nashville with him, there was a few things he did that were weird. But I brushed them all off. I brushed everything off. So at that point, I had told him that he should come to California with me after a week of being in Nashville with him. And I was like, hey, come to California, come stay at my house, whatever.
Okay. So that wasn't me, guys. That was her. I don't... Okay. Little guess.
Come to my house. Like, let's go to California. Like, you've never been there. Like, just come to my house, you know, come over. And he's like, I'm down. So I end up booking him a plane ticket to California, the both of us, and we fly down to California for the 4th of July. We get there on July 3rd, I'm pretty sure, and get home, go to bed, and then it's 4th of July, and I'd been invited to this house party that I was really excited to go to. It was with a bunch of other influencers and people I knew, people in my circle of work and what I do, and people that I am friends with. So I was excited to introduce them to people. I thought it was going to be fun. So we pregame, we Uber to this house party. It's like a darty day party.
A darty.
And we get there. And I'm saying hi to everybody and introducing him to my friends. He's being fun. He's talking to everybody. And I just like give him a hug and a kiss. And I'm like, thank you for like being cool. Like you're actually like a fun time. Like people are like liking you. Like this is awesome. And he's like, yeah, of course. Like whatever, babe. And so I end up getting pretty belligerent this night. It was 4th of July. And towards the middle of the night, this one guy comes up to me. And we're talking by the pool. And mind you, my boyfriend at the time, was sitting like right next to me, and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm just talking to him about how I met my boyfriend and how he had just gotten out of jail and how much I like him, and it's scary because I've only known him for about a month and a half and all this and that. And so my boyfriend is watching this, and this was his first time doing something like this. He looks at this and me talking to this guy, and he immediately thinks, oh, she wants to fuck him. And starts going up to all of my friends at this party and other influencers at this party, who I know, and goes up to them and is like, do you see that blonde girl over there? Yeah, that's my girlfriend. She's a slut. She's a whore. She'll fuck any guy here.
What? The guy that she just bailed out of jail? Is that who she's talking about? That's the boyfriend instantaneously? What the fuck?
Going from guy to guy to guy at this party. of people that I know.
I mean, listen, I'm insecure, but not this kind of insecure. Jesus Christ.
Going, oh yeah, you see that girl? Yeah, she's my girlfriend. She's a slut. She's a whore. Don't you think she's a whore?
It's so weird. I mean, because, you know, if it would be one thing if he was insecure and that manifested in him going up to people and being like, hey, that's my girlfriend. Like, don't talk to her. You know, that's already bad, you know, bad enough and insecure. But that's not even the energy. That's like, oh, that's my girlfriend. Like, she's a whore. She's doing whatever she wants. She's fucking other guys. Like, that's insane.
And is doing this for about an hour. And then comes up to me. And I'm like, hey, do you want to get in the pool? And he's like, yeah, I just told everybody here that, like, you're a whore, and they agree. And I sat.
I very highly doubt they agree. But Jesus Christ.
There and I was like actually in shock. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm sorry if that upset you. Like, I was literally talking about you for the past hour. Like, I was standing right in front of you. Like, I wasn't flirting with him. Like, you could have gotten in the conversation if you got uncomfortable. You could have pulled me aside. Like, I'm sorry, I did not mean to make you uncomfortable. Like, I didn't think I did anything wrong. Like, I was like,
I doubt she did it.
But like, even talking about it now, I'm like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? Like, should I have not had a conversation with—
This is what I'm talking about. Like, he's gaslighting her. Like, he's actually convincing her that she did something wrong. So he gets to be like absolutely insane. And he's playing on her like good whims? On her innocence, really, was what it is. That's what it comes down to. He's just telling her that she did something, gaslighting her. She likes this guy. She trusts this guy. She's a little emotionally vulnerable. You know, she talked about getting an abortion, and that put her in like a state. And so he has like this. He has this fucking hold over her. So he's just saying something to her, and she feels guilty for something that she didn't even do.
With this guy, like, like, it's crazy. I still feel like I'm in the wrong. Months later, so he basically is like, no, like, you're just a whore. Like, everybody here agrees with it. Like, yeah, good job. And I'm just sitting here in shock. So I'm sitting in the pool of this party alone, just sobbing. I don't know what's happening. Like, I can't explain how— I've never had something like that happen in my life. And he came up to me and confidently told me that, yeah, I just told everybody at this party that you're a slut, you're a whore, and they agree with me, all because I was talking to somebody right in front of him. Like, he heard the conversation. Like, I wasn't flirting with this guy. Like, I was talking about him. I was talking about how we met. And he could have joined this conversation at any time, but instead he took it upon himself to make a fool out of me. Just embarrassing. So I tried to make things right, and it was 4th of July, and I was like, hey, how about we go Uber to— where was it? Long Beach. I was like, let's Uber to Long Beach. I heard there's a fireworks show. He's like, I don't want to go. I was like, can we please go? Like, it's 4th of July. Basically, I have to drag him to this Uber. I spent like $150 on this Uber because Long Beach is really far away. And we get there, and we get to Long Beach, and we had missed the fireworks show. It was too late. We missed it by like 30 minutes. And he's very mad at me at this point. And I don't think I'd seen him this mad before throughout my time of knowing him. So I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, I don't understand what I did wrong. Like, I really am confused. Like, you know, aren't relationships about communication? You should have communicated that you're uncomfortable. I don't know what I did wrong. So we just end up getting into an argument, and I'm like standing on the sidewalk, and on the sidewalk, there's like the sidewalk and then this like channel of seawater, like not like the ocean. Well, yeah, the ocean, but it's like channel water, like disgusting channel water. It's in Long Beach. And I'm standing, and I'm like, all right, if you're so mad, just push me in. Obviously joking. He pushes me into this ocean, this channel of dirty water, fully clothed.
Jesus Christ.
People are literally like staring. They see him push me in, and I'm just sitting there like in shock.
I mean, listen, my wife and I have said stupid shit like that to each other before too. Obviously, you're not being serious, but this guy has like legitimate like a threat to society, anger problems.
It was just so disgusting. I was soaking wet. I get out of the water, and he had the split second of feeling bad, and then he jumped in the water full.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things, though, and this, I feel like, is the first indication in this story of being kind of caught into this toxic cycle where this abusive person with anger problems unloads his anger problems onto her by doing something wrong to her, and then afterwards he almost comes off of the anger high, and then it's part of the cycle of them bonding over, hey, that's not me. They bond over their mutual distaste of that person that is basically framed, especially by him most likely, as, oh, well, that's not actually me. That's just like I was just feeling this and that, and it turns into like this trauma bonding situation where she does something like not wrong. He loses his shit, or maybe even she does something wrong sometimes. It doesn't matter. Like, and the anger is massively disproportionate. He acts in a certain way that is horrifically volatile. He comes down off of it. She's already in a vulnerable situation that he put her in. And then he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, that's not me. I lost myself. And then you bond over like your mutual distaste for that person that is not him, but it is him. Right. And like it is him. So I feel like that is something for people to keep in mind. You know, and it's one thing to have anger problems and to lose yourself. I've been there, but to be physically abusive, I mean, that is a very different thing.
Closed, and he was like, I'm sorry, like I didn't think about it. And I'm like, what the hell? Anyways, so that was 4th of July for me last year. I hope that story made sense. With these stories that aren't the worst of the worst, I just, like, my brain's like, oh, it's whatever. But yeah, you know, it is kind of bad that he was calling me a slut to everybody and then pushed me in the ocean. So we end up spending the next week together. I can't necessarily remember if we got into any more fights that trip. I know we ended up driving up to Yosemite. We had a good trip there. I can't recall if we got into any more fights that trip, but I remember waking up the next morning after 4th of July and we both apologized. I wake up and he apologized.
Both apologized. Jesus Christ. How terrible. Imagine like he's having these massive anger issues, and it's like, obviously when somebody gets angry at you, sometimes it will incite you to be angry at them. And then it's like, oh, well, he's 90% of the problem, but, you know, I guess it's, you know, partially, you know, just try not to get caught into that.
To me, and he just said he was sorry and that it was my fault and that I'm not allowed to talk to any man ever. Doesn't matter. And I was just like, okay, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. I mean, again, I'm fucking, I get like, I'm a little insecure, but you can never talk to any man ever is insane.
Sorry. That was that. So then we spend the next week together and he ends up going back home on July 13th. He goes back home to Nashville, and at this point I'm at home in California. My best friend, my roommate, is with me and her boyfriend, and the first 2 nights that we were away were okay, I think, and then it was the 3rd night that he calls me with his friends, and my roommate, Emma, is a witness of this because I remember I went into her room just sobbing because I've never in my life been talked to like this. This was the first time he's ever said things like this to me. He calls me and he's with his friends, and I answer the phone and he just goes, "You're the biggest slut I've ever fucking met." And I'm like, what? And he just starts going on this whole tangent about how loose my pussy is and how disgusting I am and how I probably have over 100 bodies and I'm lying about my body count. I'm a slut. I'm a whore. Just every name you could probably think of to just degrade me as a woman. And he's with his friends, and his friends are all laughing, joining in on it.
Jesus Christ, in front of everybody? I mean, it's already horrible enough that he's saying these things to her, whether it's public or private, but at the very least, I mean, like, my wife and I have been angry in public before, and, you know, we obviously, though, we don't really express it, especially to other people, you know? If we're having a problem, we typically save it for private. So there's an additional layer here of, like, there's an additional layer. Not only is he an abusive person, but he gets some kind of, I don't know, some kind of satisfaction out of being publicly humiliating her. Whereas I feel like most people will save that, like, hey, let's save our relationship problems for private. Let's hash that out in private, like adults, you know, allow ourselves to deal with each other.
And he's just screaming at me, calling me like the most insane names, and I'm just sitting there like tears streaming down my face, and I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And once again, thought I was fucking his best friend. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was just accusing me of cheating on him. And mind you, we would fall asleep on FaceTime every night. I wasn't allowed not to fall asleep on FaceTime with him. Like, we had to fall asleep on FaceTime every night. He had my location. I would snap him throughout the day. I'd call him throughout the day. Like,
I wonder if he had her location because he like demanded to have location access with her, which is like fine in general to have with somebody. Like, oh, let's know each other's locations. That's fine. But there's obviously a lot of different buildings in here that are pretty disgusting. Like,
yeah, I don't know. So he just calls me every name in the book. So I get really anxious. And at this point I was very dependent on him. And I booked a plane ticket that night for $700 to go fly down and make sure that...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wonder, this is not even meant to be like a targeted question. I wonder what her relationship with her like dad is like. I'm just curious about it. I don't know. I wonder. I'm just curious.
To make sure that he still liked me. So yeah, July 13th, he goes back home. 3rd day, he calls me all these names. Later to find out about a week later that the night he was calling me these names, a slut, a whore, he had 3 girls over and then his 2 other friends. So 3 guys, 3 girls over at his house. I don't know what happened. I don't care what happened at this point. Cheating is not one of my concerns, but he did have 3 girls over at his apartment that night, and they were all drinking. And I found out because they had made a TikTok and tagged me in it. And I confronted him about it when I saw it, and he got mad at me about it and said, why am I overthinking? So, yeah, that's like just...
I mean, that's insane. What a hell of a double standard. Like I said before, like my wife, I'm a little insecure with my wife, but we have equal rules for each other. We're both a little insecure about each other, you know. But this guy is having an absolute meltdown anytime that she exists around a guy, making it seem like he's cheating on her. But then he's like hanging out privately with other girls. And then obviously it seemingly cheating on her with them, and then gaslighting her again. Okay, incredible.
Cheating is the least of my concerns right now. I could honestly
having like these deep double standards is, just so you guys know, is a pretty big red flag. Not the biggest one so far, but it is a pretty significant red flag.
Less, but just thought that was funny to add in. So this is where my timeline might be a little blurry, because this is where things start to take a turn for the worst. There's 2 times in the beginning, the first times that he had ever gotten physical with me. And I can't exactly remember which time it was. But I'm gonna try my best to remember, because I had taken videos of both times. But you'll hear later in the story that he found out that I had started to document the times he had put his hands on me. And he had deleted a lot of my proof, but I was smart and I put a lot of them in my hidden folder.
Well, it's a good thing that she did that.
So I still have.
If you feel like just, you know, for the future, again, she's young, and I understand that she means like she sees the positive in people. But if you're already starting to document when somebody's being abusive to you, if you can, try to get away from that person.
I have a good amount, but some of them were lost, and some of them I got anxious and deleted. But he just deleted a majority of them sometime in October. But we'll get there. So I ended up booking a plane ticket down for $700 after he had called me all of these names, and I fly down, and he's like, if you fly down, I'm not picking you up from the airport. I don't want to see you. You're a slut. And I'm like, I'm coming down. Like, I just don't want to lose you, whatever. And if you've never been in a situation like this, you most likely just are sitting here like, are you dumb? Like, he's calling you these names. He's pushed you in a lake or the ocean at this point, like humiliated you. Like, why do you still care? And when you're in at this point, mentally abusive relationship, you have the highest highs and the lowest lows. And that is what gets you to stay. Because after every single bad thing he had done to me, he would wake up the next morning, act like nothing happened, give me a hug and a kiss, tell me exactly what I want to hear, and then we'd have like 2 good days together.
Yeah, I think that's something people should keep in mind about abusive people, is that whether you want to hear it or not, they can be really fun and loving and good and nice to be around. And they can have like 90% of the time, 99% of the time, 99.99% of the time, they can be great. They can be like perfect for you. It's that 1% or 1/10 of a percent of the time where something triggers and they turn into an awful person. It's so easy to look at like Disney-esque movie, like stories of like what is bad, but not like people aren't all bad, we'll say, but they are all bad when they turn all bad, when they have these insane, crash outs, we'll call it. And it's so horribly, disgusting to you, or horribly disruptive to you, or destructive to you, that it's not worth the relationship. And you have to try not to hold on to that person that they are the 1% of the time or the 1/10 of a percent of the time, because it's just going to cause you, more and more grief. And the longer that you stay, the less likely that you're going to want to go, the more bound you are to be to them. Once you have kids, you're going to have even more. Then you're going to have to protect your kids from this person that loses themselves frequently, frequently enough to be a danger. You have to protect your kids, and part of that's going to mean that you may never get away from that person. So, you really want to try to cut it off as soon as possible. It's a good thing to see the positive in people. Sometimes it's a good thing to see the negative in people. Sometimes you have to see the negative in people. It sounds terrible, but sometimes you just have to. You can't save everybody.
And at this point, my roommate was not with me. Me and my dad were not on speaking terms. My sister was not talking to me.
Damn, I hate to say it. I had asked earlier what her relationship was like with her father, and hearing that her father, she's not on speaking terms with her dad, right? I heard that correctly, yeah?
Me and my dad were not on speaking terms.
I'm a little traditional, but it's a man's responsibility to teach her daughter how to be treated by a man. And if you're not on speaking terms, generally, I'd say that's most of the time that's the father's fault. You're the parent. I'm on speaking terms with my mother because my mother was a good person and good to me. And so, this one starts with like her father failed her. That's how I'm seeing it. I don't have a whole lot of context, but her father failed her. You know, as a father, you're going to be the first person to protect your children from the outside world. And if you treat your children well, especially if you're a man that treats your daughter well, you will teach her how to set boundaries with men. So it's something to keep in mind. It's one of the reasons why you want to be in your kid's life. Not that you should have to hear something like that, but it really is.
My sister was not talking to me. So I was completely isolated. I had nobody to talk to besides him. I had just gone through an abortion. Like, I was in a very fragile state. Like,
he used to yell at her a lot, but now they're talking now. Jesus Christ. If that's true, Jesus, is that true? If that's true, that makes sense. So apparently they would get into a lot of, like, you know, verbal altercations. He would yell at her a lot. Why do you think that she bypassed the red flags of somebody who would yell at her abusively? You know, that's a fail. That's the father's failure here. Like, pretty significant failure from the father here. She's disgusting. He's obviously the main problem, just to be clear, but, well, in this instance, but, like, who do you think set her up for this failure?
I had nobody else, really. He was the only person I would even talk to. I do wonder if it would have ended earlier if I had my dad at this time, but he had stopped talking to me. The highs are so high and the lows are so low, and if you've been in a situation like this before, or you currently are, you know how hard it is to leave and how easy it is to stay, especially when they're the only person that you have at the moment. It's like, you don't even, and it's crazy because I would always tell myself, like, I would never even let a guy call me a bitch. And then I'm sitting here and this guy's calling me a bitch, a whore, a slut, like, your pussy's so loose, da-da-da-da. And I'm sitting here and I'm staying, and it's crazy because it's like I had always had these morals for myself. And it's like, did this guy just catch me at my weakest moment and just know how to, like, sink his claws into me? Or, like, I don't know, but I didn't leave. And I, in no way, shape, or form, will be taking blame for what happened to me because I stayed. Because at the end of the—
Well, yeah, you shouldn't take any blame for what you— There's a way to be productive. There's a way to look at it and be like, okay, I should have noticed this red flag, without, like, blaming yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame yourself. I mean, who's the person that's the manipulative, gaslighting piece of shit? It's him. But you should try to look at it as, like, a learning moment, just being like, okay, you know, moving forward, what lesson can I— that's what you shouldn't look at it as, like, you're not to blame. That's like, what's the lesson I can learn from this? Like, how can I move forward and hopefully be a stronger person that's less susceptible to pieces of dog shit abusing you? You know, I mean, it's really, part of it is, like, how do you make yourself more callous? It's an unfortunate aspect when you walk into the world and you see the good in people and you're willing to give abusive people a chance to try to help them and make them better, and then they harm you so bad that you lose a part of you that sees the good in the world, you know, because you have to for your own protection, unfortunately.
the day, he shouldn't have done this to me. He knew what he was doing. He knew how he was manipulating me. And in no way, shape, or form is it my fault that this happened to me. And it's not my fault. And that's something that I'm going to therapy for PTSD right now. And that's something that I've had to learn, is that it's not—
It's good that she seems to have the resources to do all these things. Because it seems like she was constantly going and hanging out with him and, like, going there, like, being there for him on the dot. You know, so it's a good thing that she has the resources to be able to get herself to therapy.
My fault. I stayed because I was manipulated into it, and I was stuck.
Which actually does make sense, because she seems to be very self-aware of, like, the situation, more self-aware than I would have expected somebody to be, especially since this is pretty fresh. I think she just, like, him and her just, you know, broke it off, or she broke it off, hopefully. So it's surprising that she's this self-aware about it, but that would make sense if she's going to therapy, and if she's very receptive to therapy. Some people are not receptive to therapies.
Stuck in this head fuck of a situation, and how I got out is something I'm forever thankful for. But it's not my fault because I stayed, and I'm kind of just saying that for myself. I don't know if you watching this, I don't know. I'm kind of just saying that for myself. It's not my fault that I stayed. And I hope to God nobody is ever put in a position to where you understand what I mean. But if you know, you know. I didn't leave, and I wish I did, but I didn't. And so I flew down because I didn't want to lose him. And he does end up picking me up from the airport, and we act like everything is fine. Like, he never said those things to me on the phone. Like, nothing happened. Like, literally nothing happened at all. So I'm like, okay. I think I ended up staying there for like 2 days, and then I had to fly back because it was my roommate's 21st birthday coming up. So I'm there for like 2 days. I fly back down, and it is my roommate's birthday. I end up having fun with my friend on her birthday, and the next day I fly back down to Nashville to see him because I wanted to see him and I missed him, and you know, I just didn't want to be away from him, because every time I felt like I was away from him, I felt like it would be easier for him to just hate me and believe what his brain was telling himself about me, and that I was just, I don't know why I kept going back, but I did. I was just so attached.
Yeah, sometimes it's like impossible to explain. Like I said, I mean, I think that this is probably somebody who just likes to see the good in people, and he was able to prey on like that innocence of her, and that's pretty much it. That's why people go back, unfortunately. We could sit here and ask, why did you go back? But I mean, I think the better question is, why did he do what he did? That's a bigger issue.
I fly down on, I think it was like August 2nd or August 3rd. Somewhere around August. It might have been August 9th. It might have been this night. I'm not sure exactly what night it was. He picks me up from the airport, and he's like really nice. He's being really sweet. And he tells me he has a surprise for me. And I'm like, oh, what's the surprise? And he brings me into his room, and he had built this vanity for me. Maybe he didn't build it yet. No, he had gotten the parts. He had bought a vanity for me. And he had all the parts sitting on the ground, and my favorite Arnold Palmer drink on the bed, and cheesy popcorn and all this stuff. And he was like, so you can film your TikToks at my house when you come over. And, you know, it
just makes sense to me. Like, it's almost like it almost sounds like, and maybe I'm over exaggerating. I want to be careful about the way that I talk, because I don't want to like suggest something that's not real during a vulnerable moment for her. Because when people are in these vulnerable moments, they're very susceptible to having a change of perspective that's not necessarily a good thing. You know, that's why when you're in therapy, the therapist is not supposed to over-validate or under-validate what's going on, because they could unintentionally create more like trauma for you. But it just sounds like almost love bombing. You know, he's like being super nice to her sometimes, which probably makes her feel really good, obviously, and then it makes it harder for her to want to run away, and it makes her focus too much on the positive moments, you know.
I just want you to be here. And I'm like, that's amazing, like thank you. And I start crying, and it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure that night we built the vanity, or the next morning, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what day I flew down. Once again, I would have to check. So then we get to August 7th. I'm pretty sure this is the day it happened, because he hadn't gotten physical with me yet at this point. So this is the day that he had asked me to be his girlfriend. So he had gotten me this vanity after I'd flown down, everything.
Jesus.
And this night, he ended up having drinks. We were drinking in his apartment. I'm not sure if we went out that night. But something had set him off. I can't remember what it was. I don't know what it was. But he was just getting very...
He probably doesn't know what it was either. He's probably just gets set off because it's the kind of shitty person he is.
Agitated and angry and aggressive. And, you know, it's kind of scary. I'm 5'4", and he's 6 something. And we'll always talk about how he can break somebody's nose and how he's curb stomped people before. And he's just getting very aggressive and angry. And I'm just...
What? What the fuck? That's, just so you guys know, that's also a red flag. I mean, there's something insecure about somebody. Not that we didn't know that already. He's going around claiming she cheated on him when she obviously didn't. That's a profoundly insecure thing to walk around and talk about how you could beat people up. That is insane. That's just insane behavior. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it. You shouldn't need to do that to make you feel like you can prove yourself, to feel like a tough guy. That's fucking insane.
It's like, please calm down, please calm down. Once again, I can't really remember what set him off. But he was intoxicated. So that's when he's like, I'm gonna go. I'm leaving. And I was like, where are you going? And I see him grab his keys, and he goes downstairs towards his car. So I chase after him because I didn't want him to drunk drive. Like, he was going to kill himself, you know? Like, he was so drunk and angry, like he was going to kill himself or get arrested. Like, I obviously didn't want that to happen. So I run downstairs after him, and at this point he's getting in his car, and I get in the passenger seat, and I have the door open and my feet on the pavement. And I'm like, please do not go anywhere. Please do not go anywhere. And I don't know if I grabbed the keys, or I don't know what had happened. But he ends up getting really like mad about not being able to drive his car, or me not wanting him to go. I'm not sure what it was. And he looks at me and he balls up his fist. And this was my first time ever seeing him like this. And he balls up his fist. He looks at me like this. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like I was like, what the and he like looks at me, he goes like this, like, you know, like he was gonna hit me, turns around and punches his windshield so hard that it completely shatters.
Jesus Christ.
Shatters his entire car windshield because I did not
mean,
want
this all adds up for what I heard, like behind the scenes, that this guy would get drunk and then he would, you know, be abusive to her. You know, even worse. I mean, let's be real. It's just amplifying who he is as a person when he's, you know, because he's drunk, he's already abusing her. But then he gets drunk and he's like additionally worse. That just kind of, that makes sense.
want him to drink and drive.
Jesus.
And I remember sitting there after he did.
Yeah, I don't, just to be clear, I don't think that she's lying at all, because somebody behind the scenes told me stuff that the person that told me this, I trust them pretty significantly. So
Did that.
Yeah, she pressed charges.
And I closed the car door and I like slid down onto the pavement, and I just started sobbing because I was like, he almost just hit me. He almost just hit me. Like, he almost just socked me in the face, but last second decided to like punch his car windshield and completely shattered it. Then I remember being like, I shouldn't be scared of the person I love. Like, why did he just like...
True.
It, like, in that moment, it was like a wire in my brain had just been like snipped. Like seeing
I mean, that's probably like the realest part of the video. You shouldn't be afraid of the person that you love in any capacity. You shouldn't really be afraid of anything. You shouldn't be afraid of them leaving you. You shouldn't be afraid of any of that stuff, or else you probably have a pretty unhealthy relationship.
Anger come from him and like making me that scared. I was sitting there. I can't even, I can't explain like what I felt. I was like, he almost just socked me in the face. And now he just busted his entire car windshield. I'll include a picture of that. The only picture that I can find right now is when we had put a golf ball on top of it to make it look like a golf ball had hit it for like Snapchat clickbait. Because he didn't want us to tell anybody about what had actually happened, about him punching it instead of punching me in the face. So we told everybody, his family, my family, anybody that's on my Snapchat, that I'm pretty sure like a golf ball hit it or a rock hit it or something. But no, in reality, he had punched his windshield because he wanted to hit me so bad, but didn't. And that night, after that, I can't remember if he actually did end up driving off. I don't know. But I remember after he did that, I kind of just like gave up, and I was scared of him at that point. And I went back upstairs into the bed, and he came up and told me he loved me and asked me to be his girlfriend.
Jesus Christ.
And after seeing something like that, I said yes. Because what would happen if I said no?
Well, it just seems to be the cycle. He does something incredibly abusive, then he ups the ante on like some kind of like love bombing, love dumping onto her. And this time, you know, one time it's like, oh, I'm going to buy you a nice vanity, or I'll do something like nice like this for you. I imagine there's probably more instances of it, but this time it was like, oh, I'll be your boyfriend, which is probably something. And I'm probably, you know, maybe I'm doing a little too much assuming, but I could imagine she liked him a lot, obviously. And so to her, that's like, oh my God, like this is a big deal. And you almost like wash away, you forget all the other shit that all the other pretty horrific red flags that you know, were introduced to.
And that was the day I started to fear my boyfriend. You know, like, the name calling was pretty bad, but it didn't scare me. But that was the first time I ever feared him. And I went to bed eyes open that night.
Yeah, I wonder if that was part of it too. Was that well, maybe that was part of it. Maybe it wasn't even like a love bombing thing. Maybe it was like she was afraid that he was going to hurt her if she said no. That could have been it too. Or it could have been a mixture of both. You know, who knows? Oh, I have it muted. Awesome.
And I couldn't call anybody and tell them, because what am I going to say? You know, like, what was I going to say?
Well, she's not even speaking to her dad, so it's not like he could have done anything about it, you know? The person who I would argue, you know, should probably have done something about it more than anybody else. Why does it keep pausing?
But, you know, I just hoped in the back of my mind he wouldn't take it to the point where it was me, and I hope that, was just, a drunk mistake, but, it wasn't. August 9th, 2024, 2 days later, was the first time that he had ever gotten physical with me. And before I filmed this video, I had to rewatch the videos I have of this happening to me. So every time I talk about it, it just like replays in my head of me crying and hearing him hit me up against the wall.
Jesus Christ.
And this is what replays in my head every fucking night, every fucking time. Every fucking time. I even like try to look a guy in the eyes. I can't because this is all I see. I'm fucking like scared. Okay. Sorry, I just had to like take a moment.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing. You know, not that we needed much more credibility here, but it's the fact that she cut the camera to calm herself down is usually not typical of people who are attention seeking. Usually they won't cut the camera. They want to have that reaction live. It seems like she doesn't actually want to have that reaction of getting like that upset. It seems more like she's interested in actually communicating the story. You know, maybe part of it's for some kind of social media. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I'm a creator. I've talked about things that are personal to me before. I'm not necessarily doing it for some kind of performative attention. I don't think that she is doing it for some kind of performative attention. I think it's more of she's just doing it so that, you know, it's like, you know, partially to warn other people to, you know, look at these red flags, especially since she didn't have a father who taught her to look at these fucking red flags before from abusive men. So,
okay. August 9th, we end up going out. It was a Friday. And so we wanted to go to Broadway, you know, as one does on a Friday in Nashville.
There's a Broadway in Nashville?
So we end up going out. And
Broadway is, it's a place.
I remember this night almost to a T, besides what my brain has like blocked off. But I know I did not get that belligerent that night. But we're having a great time. We're not fighting. We're not having any arguments. Just, you know, the casual calling me a slut, whore, or whatever, which at this point was pretty normal to me. But it was all right. So we end up leaving. I'm pretty sure it was Honky Tonk. And we get in an Uber and we're on our way back to his house. And we're in the Uber and he looks at me and I don't know what provoked this, but he was like, "You're a slut," or something like that. And then slaps me in the face.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
But it wasn't like a hard slap. It was kind of like a that.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's insane. I could not even imagine doing that to my own wife. What the fuck?
And I was like dumb. It was kind of like a that. And I looked at him and I was like, "What the fuck did you just do?" And call me. So I get out of the Uber as it's moving and I start just like walking in any direction that I could away from it. And at this point I had grabbed his phone because I forgot to say this. Like I say, I forget little things that he did because the big ones are just so big. But at this point, whenever we would get into a fight and he would just accuse me of being a whore and stuff, he would post on his Snapchat story and be like, "Kayla Malec is a whore. Kayla Malec is a slut."
The fuck?
And then text girls. So at this point, whenever things would start up, I would just take his phone because he would do things like that. And I just didn't like it. But the Uber was already on the way home. And maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to take his phone, but the Uber was on the way home. I had paid for it. So I get out of the Uber and I have his phone. I have my phone. And I walk to this the bar that we had just left. And mind you, I don't know anybody in Nashville besides him. So I have nobody to call. I have nobody to text. I have nobody to help me in this situation. Like my boyfriend had just called me a slut and slapped me in the face in the back of an Uber.
Yeah, and again, she doesn't have her own father because he's a failure of a man too.
So I'm kind of in shock. And I walk up to the security at Honky Tonk and I just start crying to them. And then I realize, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I can't tell them that my boyfriend did that to me."
Yeah, because they probably beat the shit out of him, which is the correct response, just to be clear.
So I just tell them about the situation that I was going through with my dad and just start crying about that. And they're like, "Okay, well, we'll listen, but girl, call an Uber home." So I call another Uber. And then I'm like, "Oh my God, what if my boyfriend got out of the car and he's looking for me?" So I get out of that Uber and I start running down the street to Broadway looking for him. And I'm like, "Oh my God, where is he? Where is he? Like, what if he left the Uber? What if he got out of the Uber? Like, what if something bad happened?" And I can't find him. So at this point, I just stand on the corner of this bar and I just start sobbing. And this group of guys comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" And mind you, they're in their like 30s or 40s. Me like having to justify just people being decent human beings. Just, I can't. Anyways, but they were like 30, 40 before anybody's like, "You slut." Because I just think everybody sorry. And they come up to me and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just sobbing. And I'm like, "My boyfriend just slapped me in the face." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "My boyfriend just slapped me in the face and called me a slut." So I got out of the Uber. Like, I have his phone. Like,
Jesus Christ, with this fucking TikTok live thing. Sorry, give me a second. Okay.
I'm in shock right now. And he's like, "You can't go back there." And I'm like, "I don't know anybody else here." And this group of guys are just like, you can't go back there. And I'm like, I have to, like, all my stuff's there. Like, I don't know anybody else here. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so I end up calling an Uber on my phone, my third Uber. And I'm like, I have to go, I'm sorry. And so I end up telling this group of guys, they stayed with me until my Uber got there, and I'm just kind of sobbing to them about what had happened. And the Uber gets there, and I get in the Uber, and the guy goes up to the Uber driver. He like leans over the window, and he's like, do not let that girl go back to her boyfriend's house. Like, he's gonna hit her, he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I have to go back there. So I look at the Uber driver and I'm like, drive, he's crazy. And the Uber driver drives off.
Oh, I feel bad. So the guy who was trying to like help her, she got nervous because, yeah, I mean, I it's not her fault. You know, I feel bad. That's a tough decision, man. But she's like, no, that guy's crazy. Don't even worry about it. That's the guy who's trying to help her. But like, I get it. She's fucking trapped at this point. But damn, that's fucking rough. I feel a little bad for the guy too. But obviously, you know, I imagine he would understand. But that's fucking terrible.
And why did I do that? Like, why did I sit here and like, I don't know. I didn't know anybody else. I don't know. I think if I would have known what would have happened later that night, I wouldn't have gotten in that Uber. And
yeah, the guy in this case, I'm pretty sure she's talking about, unless I heard this wrong, I'm specifically talking about the guys who were trying to protect her and help her. Maybe I misheard it, but I'm pretty sure that what she's saying is that she went outside. There's a bunch of older guys that were trying to protect her. They helped her get into the Uber. They were like, hey, don't let her go back to her boyfriend's house. And she was like telling the driver that those guys were crazy because she didn't know what to do. She like was frantic. She felt like she had to go back to his house, and she got like, you know, yeah, I feel bad for those guys, but obviously not as bad for her, what she's going through.
Would have listened to those guys, and I would have booked myself a hotel and went back in the morning. But I didn't, because I didn't know that people were capable of taking things this far at this point. I knew what he was capable of, and I knew what he was capable of, but not that he would ever do it to me. You know, like, who does that to their girlfriend? Like, you hear about people getting beat in movies and on the news and in documentaries, and why would that happen to me? Why would it, you know? So I ended up getting back home about an hour after him. And I know this because we had talked about it later on, but I get back about an hour after him. And I walk in the front door, and he's leaned over the toilet just barfing. And I'll never, ever, ever forget the look in his eyes when I walked in that door. I walk in, and he's leaned over like this. And when I walk in the room, he goes, like, this is gonna look dumb, but he like looked up at me with like his eyes wide like this. And like, there was no soul in his eyes. They were empty. And I remember my biggest compliment for him, like when I first started to get him, is that he had these puppy dog eyes. You know, they were full of soul and light and happiness and joy. And after this day, his eyes stayed hollow and lifeless and soulless. But his eyes just, I can't even explain the look in his eyes. I can't explain it. And he looks up at me, and he stands up, and he goes, you stupid fucking bitch, where the fuck were you? And I'm like, Jesus, you slapped me in the face in the Uber. What the fuck was I gonna do? Sit there and like sit next to you? Like, I'm not gonna sit in a 20-minute Uber ride back home after you just slapped me in the face. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And so he's like, I know you were fucking somebody. I'm like, you have my location. Like, here's your phone.
I wonder if he actually thinks that she's like cheating on him, or if he does this just like as an excuse to just be angry at her. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to think that he doesn't actually think that she did that. Like, I don't even think it comes from like this insecurity. I think it's all like a controlled narrative. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think he just likes to just gaslight her. I don't think it has anything to do with like her actually like, or him actually thinking that she's being unfaithful.
And go check my Life 360 track. Like, I stayed on.
Yeah, it could be a projection, or it could just be like some kind of a manipulation tactic, or like a control tactic. I don't know. I'm not like a therapist or anything, so I don't really know the answer. But to me, it reads more as it's just some kind of a control tactic. You know, I think it's almost giving it to being too charitable to say that this is like a genuine response from him. Like, he's actually insecure. Like, oh man, he's actually insecure. Because then you feel bad for him a little bit if he's actually insecure. I don't think he's actually insecure. I think he knows what he's doing, and he's trying to be manipulative to her on purpose. That's what I think.
By the way, I was at honky tonk the whole time crying to these people about how you just slapped me in the face. Well, I was telling him that I told people that he slapped me in the face, but in reality, I only told one person that he slapped me in the face, and I did tell the it doesn't matter. But I told the honky tonk people that my dad was going through things and what our issues were. But I told one guy, the group of guys, that my boyfriend had slapped me in the face. But I was like, I was like, I was literally just crying about what had happened. And he's like, do you understand that, like, when you jumped out of the Uber, I jumped out after you, couldn't find you, had to pull out $80 cash to go give somebody to take me home. And I'm like, then why'd you slap me in the face? Like, he sat there and he was trying to, like, twist it. He's like, no, this is your fault. Like, you made me spend $80 to go home. And I'm like, you slapped your girlfriend in the face and called me a slut. Was I supposed to sit in the Uber with you that I paid for? What the fuck is wrong with you? So he sits there and he's twisting it. And he's like, no, you just made me spend $80 on an Uber home, whatever. And so we just start arguing, and I'm just like, do you not see what you did wrong? Like, apologize to me. And so things are just heating up, and he's calling me names, and we're arguing, and
damn, that was rough. Just like seeing her shift gears like that, getting excited, and then like not like in a positive way, but getting like really excited and worked up, and then just something went on in her head that just like caused her to relive something. I mean, that was fucking tough.
I'm just in shock that he is standing on slapping me in the face, and at this point, he punches me in the face.
Jesus, well, that's what it was. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, he punches me in the face. It starts going. Just beating the fuck out of me, really.
Damn.
To the point where there was teeth indents in my lip. I couldn't eat for 3 days because, like, my jaw felt like it had unclicked because he had just gotten me so hard. I don't remember how I felt in that moment. I don't remember how I felt in that moment. I wish I did. I don't know how I felt in that moment. He then turns around and punches off straight into the vanity that we had just built. Glass goes everywhere, all over my stuff. And then he goes into the bathroom. And this is where I started to record. He's in the bathroom and he's washing his hands and he's calling me a bitch, a slut, saying it's my fault that he had cut his hand on the vanity.
Jesus fuck.
Blaming it all on me, saying it's my fault. I mean, you'll see it. I'm gonna include all of the videos at the end of this video with dates attached to them, so you know when was when. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm gonna do this.
See, if she had like a actual father that was worth anything, this kid probably wouldn't be this kid probably wouldn't be alive anymore, let's be real. You know, because that to me is the only acceptable response, honestly.
And so I go into the bathroom and I'm like, you just broke my fucking jaw, and I could barely talk at this point.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm just crying, and I'm like, you just broke my fucking jaw, you just broke my fucking jaw, you just broke my fucking jaw, and I can't stop saying that. And I'm just like, you broke my fucking jaw. And I go into the bathroom, and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You just beat the fuck out of me, like, my jaw is broken, like, there's teeth indents in my lip, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? So he's just like, get the fuck away, screaming at me, and I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? And at this point, I've never been in a domestic violence situation, so I didn't know that you need to step back, because they're just gonna keep doing it. I didn't think he would. And so he shoves me up against the wall. My head slams onto the wall. There's blood on the wall. And he starts just punching me into this wall. And you can just hear it. He's just punching me into the wall. He's punching me into the wall. Like, he's beating my head into the wall. I'm just screaming for him to stop. Then he just walks out of the bathroom. I remember I got up off the bathroom floor. And I've never even been in, like, a fight, let alone that. And my whole body just hurt so bad. felt like my jaw was snapped out of place. I'll never forget that feeling. I couldn't eat. Like, it was the most excruciating pain. Like, my whole lip was busted, and it was, God. So I run downstairs and I run outside, and I didn't have anybody to call. I didn't want to call my mom and say I just got beat the fuck out of. Didn't want to call my friends. I didn't know who to call. So for the first time in my life, I dialed domestic help hotline at 19 years old.
Jesus, she's younger than I thought. I thought she was fucking 20. Well, I guess this happened like 9 months ago.
Sat there on the phone with them at 4 a.m. on the curb of my boyfriend's townhouse. Cried to them about what just happened, asking them if it's normal, and they were like, it's not normal. Do you have anywhere safe to go? And I'm like, no, I don't know anybody here. I have no friends out here. He's the only person I know out here. I'm across the country from where I live. My dad's not talking to me at this point. I don't have anybody right now.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they're fucking like, I'm really not trying to reinforce this, because he's obviously the biggest problem, the ex-boyfriend. But I mean, how are you not in your own daughter's life? And to be able to protect her if something like this happens. It's just a disgusting failure of every man in her life. It's fucking disgusting.
And as I'm on the phone with them, I'm like walking at this point, kind of like pacing. And I'm like going around the block, and I remember I see my boyfriend outside now walking towards me. He sees me on the phone. I'm on the phone with domestic hotline. I'll include that as well. A screenshot of me dialing the number at that time. Yeah,
well, she's got quite a bit of credibility to this story already.
And he's walking, and I see him, and I've never felt so scared in my life. So I was like, is he trying to kill me now? Why is he coming for me outside? And I've never felt so scared of a human being in my life. I've never, like, I'm a very paranoid person. So, like, I'm already, like, very hyper aware of people and, like, paranoid, I guess. But I can't even, like, this fear, like, it genuinely felt like I was in the Scream movie. Like, and it was my boyfriend. Like, I should be looking at him outside and wanting to give him a hug. But I just wanted to get as far away from him as possible. So I turn around and I start walking. And all of a sudden, 2 police cars show up.
That's good. At least they got there quick.
No, I will forever fucking regret this. But I can't blame myself. I really can't. The cops pull up and they see me crying. My eyes are swollen. My lips busted. I can barely talk. Bruises on my legs. And they're talking to me and they're like, hey, is everything okay? And I immediately just start crying. And they were like, we got a noise complaint of somebody screaming and crying.
A noise complaint? I thought that would have been, maybe they were just saying that around him just to be safe so that he didn't think that she called the cops on her. Because I thought that the domestic hotline would have called the police. But maybe it is, maybe somebody did just like, maybe somebody did actually call for a noise complaint, but I don't know. I wouldn't doubt that they would have said that just to protect her potentially, you know?
Crying. And instead of telling them the truth.
Yep.
And getting out of the situation, I look behind me and I see that my boyfriend is standing right there, and he just takes off down the road because, mind you, he's on probation. He had just gotten out of court a month ago.
This happened in a month? He's only a month old? Is that what she's talking about? That is fucking insane. Is this, am I getting the timeline right? Is this only a month after he got out of jail for drinking and driving? This happened, or was that a separate incident? That's fucking insane.
And then in that moment, I'm like, he's going to go to jail. And I'm like, oh my God, he'll hate me even more. Oh my God. After it just done this to me. And I was so scared of him. And I was like, what will he do to me if, like, what is he going to do to me then? And I didn't know what to do. So I just started crying. And mind you, like I've said a million times at this point, me and my dad were going through a very, very rough patch in our relationship. And so I just started crying about my daddy issues. And then they gave me a hug and they were like, I hope everything gets better. You know, go inside with your boyfriend and
Jesus Christ.
get some rest. And so I get back inside and my boyfriend is downstairs on the couch. So I go upstairs into his room. I close the door. I lay down. And at this point, the sun is literally rising. I just sobbed myself to bed. I've never in my life cried like that before. I've never felt less human. Every single piece of dignity that I had left my body at that point. I'm sitting there in this bed, in this state where I know nobody. My boyfriend, the man that I trusted, loved, had just gotten extremely physical with me. The cops got called and I still lied.
Oh, he's on probation for theft? Is this a different thing? Is his drinking and driving and theft?
For him. And here I am sleeping. The cops got called and I still lied for him. And here I am sleeping in his bed while he's downstairs. What's going to happen in the morning? So I go to bed and I ended up taking more videos and pictures of what had happened. And I did this for the pure fact because I thought I was going to leave. I thought I was going to leave I thought we were going to break up. I didn't, there was like two things going through my brain. I was like, we're going to break up. It's done. Like, how would we fix this? It wasn't because I didn't love him anymore. It was like, how would we fix this? You know, how would we fix this? How would he move
I imagine he's just going to pretend it never happened. That just seems like his go-to.
past this, you know?
Or maybe he actually didn't realize it happened.
And then the second thing was because I wanted to make sure he knew what he did to me. You know, what if he wakes up the next morning and he doesn't believe what happened? So I document.
Oh, okay, that communicates to me that there was a pattern of him getting really drunk and then not remembering things that happened, which I don't know, which is something that the person, you know, my trusted source told me before this happened, that this guy had said to them, well, not to them directly, but somebody that they trust, that he would get drunk and then not remember what he did. And I wonder if that's true or if that's just something that he would say just to try to downplay his activity.
Did everything, and I'm forever thankful I did. Not even so that I can show other people, but so that I will forever know my truth, and I'll always have proof for myself of what happened. And I can never be called the crazy one. I can never call myself the crazy one. I can never blame these things for myself because this shit's just not fucking human. So I go to bed at like 7 a.m. I wake up the next morning to him knocking on the door. And he throws my suitcase on the floor and he starts throwing my clothes in them. And he goes, I think you should go. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And I go on Expedia.
Yeah, it sounds like he didn't forget. So I think it's probably a bullshit excuse, this idea that he's going to hide behind it too in court. He's going to say, well, I would get drunk and I black out, so like part of it's not my fault. I don't know. I think that they should just give this guy a capital punishment. Unironically. They should, I mean, we have to be a little bit more loosey-goosey on our capital punishment regulations here, frankly. I think that's just time to, you know. Some people aren't for this world. You know what I mean? There's some people, they don't fit in very well. You're a 20-something-year-old man going around getting drunk and beating people and getting into drinking and driving problems. I think maybe you're better off if you don't exist anymore. I'm going to be real with you. That's just me personally. What's the point?
Yeah, and I start looking at flights, and he's like, no, let's fix this.
Wait, what? She said that? Or?
And I'm like, yeah, me too. And I go on Expedia, and I start looking at flights, and he's like, no, let's fix this.
Oh, interesting.
That day.
So he told her to leave. Then she said, yeah, I think you're right. And then he flipped instantly. What was he bluffing? He was just trying to like manipulate her again? This is just another pattern of being abusive. Like pushing as hard as possible to make her feel like she's the guilty party. And then when it doesn't work, he shifts his strategy. That's what it sounds like here.
We go to Ricardo's, a restaurant. And we booked tickets to go to Hawaii together. And
Jesus Christ.
We booked the tickets. And that whole time we're kind of just trying to act like things are normal. And
what's the problem with xenophobic nationalism, don't you think?
Is there a response from this guy?
And he's being a boyfriend, and I remember things trying to be normal, but I couldn't forget how different his eyes looked now. And I couldn't help shake the feeling that he was pushed past the point of no return, and that there's no way that would only happen once. But I hoped, and he told me that would never happen again. And I remember he woke up the next morning and he was like,
said it was a lie for attention. Yeah, I doubt that that's true.
Like, how bad really was I? How bad was I? I don't remember much. And I go like this, and my whole thing's just bloody.
You already deleted it? I wouldn't doubt it.
And I point at the door in the bathroom, and there's blood squirted everywhere. And I point to my floor, and my vanity's shattered, and there's glass everywhere, all in my makeup. And he's just like, oh, well, what did you do to make me act that way? And I looked at him, and I was like, I didn't do anything. You slapped me.
Jesus Christ. Wait, what?
In the there's glass everywhere, all in my makeup.
Okay, I'm assuming that's a vanity, yeah.
And he's just like...
This is from August 10th, 2020. Oh, this is what just a picture of it. This is a year old. I'm fucking sitting here. It's August 9th, 2025.
Oh, well, what did you do to make me act that way? And I looked at him, and I was like, I didn't do anything. You slapped me in the face in the Uber, so I jumped out because why? I'm not gonna what? Like, whatever. So that day after we booked tickets and things were kind of just like normal as they could be, he was just trying to act like things were fine.
Thank you, August, for finding this for me.
At this point, we had posted that his car windshield was shattered, but we said it was a golf ball. In reality, 2
So this is apparently his response. Somebody must have re-uploaded it. We'll take a look at this after. Okay.
days before that, he had punched it instead of punching me in the face, which 2 days later, he ended up doing it anyways. So, one of these days, I can't remember the exact date of it. It was one of these days, and I did have a video of this. But this is one of the videos he ended up being able to delete.
That's before? This one's 2 years old? What the fuck? This is from 2 years ago?
The 9 months we were together, she said the whole night.
Okay. This guy would be pretty easy to take down, just to be clear. But, okay.
But I don't fucking care. We're on the way to, at this point, in our relationship, his job was a window washer. He would door knock and be like, hey, do you want me to wash your windows? And they'd say yes. And then he'd wash the windows and make $500. And that was his job. So it was very much like his time, his clock. And so I was able to go to work with him. And for a lot of these jobs, he not only did windows, but like driveways and stuff. And when he would do driveways,
sounds like a power washing business.
Power washing driveways and like sealing them, it would take hours and hours and hours. And obviously, like, I can't really help with a lot of that because there's one power washer.
Is there a different response to this? Like, that's more recent than this one?
So I remember one of these days.
Oh, so she did a live a while ago. Okay.
Days before we went to Hawaii, after he had put his hands on me for the first time. One of these days I looked at him and I said, you know what? One day while you're at work, I would love to take your car and like give it a car wash for you. Like, I love washing cars. When I lived in Indiana, I would wash my car all the time. Like, I love doing car washes. Like, I love washing cars. Like, I'll wash your car for you one day while you're power washing a driveway. By the time you're done power washing, I'll be back with your car freshly detailed, you know, for the free. I'll come back with some snacks too. Like, just trying to be nice. And he looks at me and he's like, why would you want to get in my car without me? And I like kind of...
What kind of response is that? He could just say no, but okay.
Sat back and I was like, did I say something wrong? Like, what are you talking about?
I'll tell you one thing. I would have taken that deal in a fucking heartbeat. I hate cleaning my car.
And he starts going on this whole rampage about how I just want to go fuck guys. And that's why I want to go take his car to get a car wash. And I'm like,
okay.
First off, what the fuck? Second off, what the fuck? But third off, you have my location on Life 360, Find My iPhone, and Snap Maps. So, I mean, and also I've never done anything to make...
That's fucking insane. I mean, again, like, if you have your partner's, whatever, like, location on it, it seems somewhat normal nowadays. But, I mean, the only reason that this would happen is because he wants to have track of her constantly. I mean, that's at least what I'm seeing.
Make you not trust me. Like, I'm so confused right now. And so I'm telling him that, and he's like, no, that's weird as fuck. That's weird as fuck. Why wouldn't you just want to wash my car while I'm with you? And I'm like, no, that's the point. Like, you're working while you're at work. Take your car, get it washed for you.
Yeah, you're just being efficient, right?
I detail it. Like, I vacuum it, all this fun stuff. Bring it back to you. And he got really pissed off at me. This is probably one of the most dehumanizing points of our relationship that I've ever felt. So he's freaking out on me about this. He's saying it's because I want to cheat on him. He's screaming at me. He's fucking screaming at me. So he's like, no, you want to wash my car? We're going to do it fucking now. We're going to do it fucking now, bitch. We're going to do it fucking now, you stupid bitch. So we get to the car wash.
Jesus Christ.
He drives us there, and I'm just sobbing. Like, what the fuck did I do wrong? He's calling me all...
I would even go to a car wash. Like, what a weird guy. Like, just wash it yourself if that's your whole fucking job.
These names, slut, whore, whatever. And we pull up to the car wash, and one of his friends... this is crazy to me. I don't think he knew the extent of like what was happening, but still, boys will be boys, so whatever.
Well, I mean, listen, boys will be boys when they, you know, act a little crazy, maybe. You know, maybe they play with their poop or something and they're like a little annoying. Boys will not be boys when they're fucking violently abusive. You know, I don't want to normalize that type of boys will be boys behavior. You know what I mean? Boys will be boys when I forget to do the dishes or I can't find the ketchup, right? That's normal. Boys will be boys. You know, my wife knows that, you know, but for some reason I can't find the ketchup in front of my fucking face. But, you know, we really shouldn't claim boys will be boys for domestic abuse. I mean, if we're gonna kind of brush that behavior off, then we might as well end ourselves as a species at this point.
One of his friends is working at the car wash, And so he lets us in the car wash, and he just sees me sobbing, and my boyfriend's in the passenger seat, like, smiling, because that's what he would always do, is whenever he'd do things like that and call me names and I'd start crying and stuff, he would just start, like, smiling and laughing in my face. And so we get out of, like, the outside wash, and we pull up to the vacuums, and it's completely empty. And we're just sitting in the car, and he's like, wash my car, bitch. And I look at him, and I go, what the fuck? Like, why are you talking to me like this? Like, you have no right to talk to me like this. And he's like, no, you're gonna wash my fucking car. You're gonna do it when I wasn't with you. You're gonna do it when you're with me. If you could do it without me, you could do it with me. And starts just being like, get out of my fucking car and wash it, bitch. Like, get on your hands and knees and wash my car, bitch. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I had this on fucking video. He grabs my hair like this, yanks it like this, and then slams my head on the window. And he's like, get the fuck out of my car and wash it. So at that point, I open the door and I'm just fucking sobbing at this point. I'm just sobbing. And I grab the vacuum. I get on my fucking hands and knees, and I'm just vacuuming his car. And he's sitting there laughing at me. And he's like, yeah, bitch, make sure you get it all. Like, you wanted to wash my car so bad, you're going to do it with me here.
Yeah, at this point, I'm fully convinced that this whole I got drunk and abusive narrative is just an excuse. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing the whole time. He doesn't get blackout drunk and then, you know, start getting abusive with her. He just does this in general, and he uses that as an excuse to try to downplay his behavior. It's court. That's all it is. It's just so that he has what he thinks is a good excuse in court. But if you can get arrested for, you know, why? You make a decision to get drunk and you harm people, you know, you should get the penalty. I don't know. The death penalty, maybe. I don't know. I do know, but okay.
So I'm saying,
fucking disgusting.
they're watching it, and he ends up going to his friend who's working, and he's like, yeah, can you believe this slut? Like, she wanted to wash my car while I wasn't with her. So I'm like, okay, wash it now. Like, telling him the whole situation. And his friend's sitting there laughing about it, and I'm just on my knees in this fucking car wash, vacuuming it, sobbing. And so after like 5 minutes, I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And he's like, no, you're not. Like, you wanted to wash my car, fucking do it. So we're there for 30 minutes. And I'm forced there to just vacuum his car because I offered to wash his car while he was at work. And that was like 4 days after he had put his hands on me for the first time. So yeah, I sat there on my hands and knees for about 30 minutes. Being called a bitch, a slut, everything you could think of, stupid bitch, being forced to vacuum and wash his car for him. And then I got back in, and he just turned up the music and we drove off. In our 9-month relationship, he called me bitch more than he called me my name or babe. And that's just fact. So we end up getting to Hawaii, and things are amazing for the first few days. And, you know, how a relationship would be. I don't think he name called me much this time. Things were like, honestly, okay. So on the 4th day that we're there, on August 28th.
I'm trying to understand this guy's triggers. You know, not that it really matters. He shouldn't be here, but I'm trying to understand his triggers for like what provokes him to do it. And just to be clear, when I say provoke, that's not me being like, oh, what does she do? She doesn't do anything. He's having an unnecessary response, but like almost like a morbid curiosity. I'm wondering what it is that triggers this guy, that turns him, like what is it that gets him? Like what issue does he have that makes him like feel like doing this? I'm genuinely curious.
And mind you, he had not gotten physical with me really bad.
Probably cheating in the past. I don't know. There's just some, I mean, maybe it is insecurity, you know, that he likes to do this. I think it has to be some kind of control. I don't know. There's no way that's an insecurity. I just feel like that's giving him too much credit. You're like, oh, he's insecure. No, I think there's a control. I think that he's like some kind of control just to, I don't know.
Sense the first time and pulling my hair, but that wasn't like the worst of it. And slamming me up against the window, but that was whatever that was a cakewalk compared to what was going to come. So we end up driving our mopeds. So we were staying in Honolulu, and on the 4th day we were there, we ended up going shark cage diving and all this stuff. And we ended up realizing that we really like North Shore, which is on the complete opposite side of the island. It's like a 2-hour moped ride because we had rented mopeds. And so we end up spending the whole day on North Shore, and we find this like cliff jumping spot, and we're jumping off this cliff, and we meet like a group of people who come to Hawaii a lot, and we're just like making a bunch of friends, right? And there's this one guy who's talking to me and my boyfriend a lot at this point, a lot, and he's just super nice, super friendly. And
then I'm assuming that we go into like the whole cheating thing again,
giving us spots to cliff jump off of and whatever. So the sun starts setting, and Evan and my boyfriend at this point is very intoxicated.
I wonder why she changed that from like saying Evan to like her boyfriend at this point. I wonder what made her like say that. I wonder if she's trying to like almost detach him from the story emotionally, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
So he's like behind a bush throwing up, and I'm sitting on the mopeds, ready to go. And mind you, I did not support him drinking and driving, but what am I gonna say? He's just gonna
do what he wants.
Do it anyways, or
yeah, his name might be triggering. Yeah, I don't know if it's because of legal reasons. I feel like it's more because she's trying to detach him from the story to just tell the story rather than like have him in there. That's just my opinion.
Get mad at me. So what am I gonna do? So he's throwing up, and our mopeds are started, and the guy who was talking to us a lot on the cliffs came up to me, and he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I like get your Snapchat?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but like I have a boyfriend. I don't think he'd like that. You could get his Snapchat though, and like we can all text." And he's like, "Oh, it's okay," and walks away. And I was like, "Oh my god, that was so funny. Like he was totally hitting on me. Like how funny." So
I don't know. Did he put him up to that just to see what she would do?
My boyfriend comes back up, and I decide, and I'm like, ooh, if I told him that had happened right now while the guy's right there, he might try to fight him. So I'm gonna wait until like we go get food, because we were supposed to go get food. So we get on the mopeds.
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would try to fight another man. This guy seems like the kind of guy that just tries to harm people that he thinks are vulnerable. So I doubt that that would happen, just personally. It's usually the weakest men that are like really quick to be abusive to their partners.
And we drive to this pizza place down the road. We get to the pizza place, and I get off the moped. I'm like, oh my god, you want to hear the funniest story? Like, that guy that we were cliff jumping with asked for my Snapchat. Like, isn't that so weird, so funny? Like, guys are dogs. Like, he knew we were dating, and like, I was just like laughing about it. And he's like, you added him, didn't you? And I was like, no, like I didn't. Like, that's why I'm telling you. Like, it's a funny story. Like, why would I add him? Like, what the hell? And he's like, no, let me go through your phone right now. And mind you, at this point, I don't even think I've even touched on this yet, but going through my phone was a daily thing, and it wasn't just like going through messages. It would be an hour-long thing every single time he'd go through my phone.
Jesus Christ.
To the point where like he would like go through me and my mom's text messages, which is really weird. But I knew I couldn't fight that. But yeah, mind you, at this point, he would go through my phone at least once a week for an hour. And that was just like routine for me. It was one of our rules. I actually have a list in my phone that I might share later. I don't know, of things that I was not allowed to do at all and stuff like that. But yeah, so he grabs my phone, and he like goes on the recent searches on Snapchat where you could see it, and the dude's not on there. But here's where things get juicy. He goes on there, and he doesn't see the guy's not on there. Like, I didn't get a Snapchat, but he sees in my recent searches is this one guy. Okay, there's this one guy we're gonna call Jacob. Okay, Jacob's in my searches. Now here is some backstory on Jacob. Jacob had been on my private story for like years. Like, I've known this guy since.
Well, I feel like this is just how like Snapchat works. It's just weird.
6th grade, we were neighbors, friends. Like, this guy's in the military, and I'm pretty sure like has a girlfriend. Like, we don't text after he put his hands on me.
I don't know, I get like random people that it recommends to me or whatever. So Snapchat's just fucking annoying and bizarre.
Just like, I don't want guys on my private. I don't want a reason for him to lash out again. And so I had like looked up every single person on my private, him being one of them, and I removed him. And I'm pretty sure there was like one more, and that was Ben, my current sister's fiance. So he's like, who the hell is Jacob? And who's Ben? And I was like, okay, well, Ben is my sister's fiance, and Jacob is somebody I've been friends with for a really long time. We haven't talked in like over a year, and he was on my private story. Like, you could go through our chats. Like, we haven't talked. So he obviously goes through my chats. Me and Jacob have not texted since 2023. He goes on my iMessage, looks up Jacob. We have not texted since like 2023. Like I said, like, we just don't talk. I just didn't see a reason for this guy to be on my private story anymore. So he's like, okay, well, I want to do something on your phone. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, you can have it.
Was he going to message the guy and try to like test her, see if he's talking to her?
So we go into Walgreens because he wanted to get more alcohol. And so we go in.
That sounds like a great habit of his, huh?
And as we're walking into Walgreens, he's texting this guy, Jacob. And he's like, hey, like, what's the moves? Or something like that. I can't remember the exact thing that he said, but he was trying to act like me. And then Jacob responded.
Is that what she would say? What's the moves?
And he's like, oh, like, how's Hawaii? It was like something like that. I can't remember the exact thing.
Well, I imagine that she posted about it on social media, so.
But it pissed him off that this Jacob guy knew I was in Hawaii. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, why not? This social media age, and she's like a fucking content creator. She probably posted it up.
I kind of post everything I do online. Like,
yeah.
He's public for everybody, you know? So he ends up slamming my phone onto the ground outside of this Walgreens, right in front of this guy sitting on the ground, and just storms inside. And I remember I'm crying, and I grab my phone off the ground. It's thankfully not shattered, and the guy sitting on the ground outside of the Walgreens is like, did he just do what I think he did? And I go, yeah, like, it's fine. You know, he's just going through it. So I walk inside and he's carrying the alcohol and he's like, get the fuck away from me, get the fuck away from me. And I'm like, what? And he's like, let me see your phone again. I give him my phone again. He scrolls up to his text and he sees that back in 2023, this Jacob guy had slid up on my story and said, like, you're cute.
Oh, no.
Something. Or like, let's link something back in 2023. And he goes, see, he's fucking texting you. You're texting him. Throws my phone on the floor again. I pick it up. My hands are shaking at this point. And I'm like, it says 2023. This was a year ago. And I'm shaking. And he's like, you're right, but still. And like storms off. So at this point, throwing my phone on the ground.
I mean, like, you know, in a normal relationship, if you saw that, you might be like, hey, I don't want you following him anymore. That's about the reason. That's about the that's about the extent of the reasonable, you know, reasonable ability you could have on that. Be like, oh yeah, I don't really like feel comfortable with that. You adding somebody that you used to talk to. That's it. Not slamming the fucking phone on the ground. It's fucking insane.
2 times. This is the first time doing anything like this in public too. And he was talking to me crazy, calling me a bitch, a slut, throwing my phone on the ground, whatever. So I end up getting on my moped and I drive across the street, like literally across the street. And I go into the supermarket and I'm like, I'm just gonna get some Arnold Palmer's, my favorite drink, my comfort drink, and just like calm down. So I get my little Arnold Palmer. And I'm sitting there sipping it and I'm just like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm actually scared at this point that cops are going to get called because he's being very loud, cursing very loud, you know, is my girlfriend a fucking slut? And all this shit. So I'm just like across the road, like keeping my distance. So then eventually, I'm not sure how, he's like, okay, let's go to this Airbnb. I don't know how. I don't know how he got convinced to do it. I'm pretty sure later on he told me that so that he could just leave. So we end up getting to the Airbnb and he's like, we're breaking up, like we're done. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And he's like, you know, you have guys on your private story and they know you're in Hawaii. And I'm just like, please stop overreacting. Like, it's like, please stop. And he's just like, I don't fucking care, whatever. Sorry, I'm probably taking too long in this story. But eventually things escalate. And he's like, I'm leaving, sorry, like, you're stuck here. And so I stand up and I'm like, no, don't go, please do not fucking go, please do not fucking go. And I'm just sitting there crying. And he's like, so you're fucking this guy, aren't you? You're fucking this guy, aren't you? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And it was, I can't recall, it was like a lot of screaming and stuff. And he had punched my head into the door as hard as he could. Like, my head just slammed into the door to the point where I remember I've never like had my head hit something so hard that like I went unconscious. But I was like very close to going unconscious and I sat there and everything was spinning. Jesus and I'm Christ. Laying on the door like this at this point, and I'm like, my eyes are rolling in the back of my head because of how hard he had hit me onto the door. My ear ended up turning black after that, and
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
There was a huge dent on my head from how hard he hit me up against it. And I'm laying on the floor in like fetal position. And he just starts kicking the fuck out of me and punching me. And he's kicking me as hard as he can. And I'm scream crying. And he's like, you learn your lesson, bitch. You learn your lesson, bitch. And then he spits on me and walks away.
Wow. What the fuck?
So I get back up. And I'm like, at this point, oh, I have never tried fighting back before. So I get up and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? What the fuck's wrong with you? You don't do that to me. So then he shoves me on the floor again. And he tries to drag me by the legs into the hallway. So I grab the cabinet of the Airbnb and he's pulling my legs so hard into the hallway. I don't know why he was trying to take me into the hallway, probably to just, I don't know, so I couldn't run away or something. So I'm screaming and I'm like, please stop, let go of me, let go of me, let go of me, let go of me. And he pulls me so hard that the cabinet rips off the hinges of this Airbnb. And then he starts punching me again. And then he just walks away. And so at this point, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, this was definitely the worst. So at this point, I'm scared again. I'm sure you know how I feel. I've said it a million times. So I run in and I lock myself in the bathroom. Because that's like the only place with a lock and I wanted to be safe and I was scared. So I lock myself in there and I start taking pictures and videos of everything he did to me. And I'm just sitting there crying. And I remember my lip had like this weird like line on it. And so then I'm like, oh shit, what if he comes in here? Like, I just don't want him to come in here and start doing stuff. So I turn on the shower and I get naked, I get in the shower. And I'm standing in there. So I'm like, this is the one place I feel like he wouldn't hurt me in, like, is the shower. So I'm standing there and I'm not even washing my hair. I'm just standing there like shaking from like, what the fuck happened? I was just in shock. And so then I hear him knock on the bathroom and open it. And he walks in and he looks at me and he goes, I'll never fucking forget this. After he just beat the fuck out of me, he walks in and he goes, looks around, and I'm like sitting in there. I remember he walked in. I like I can't explain the feeling of being scared of your boyfriend. And being scared of the man that's supposed to, I cannot fucking explain that. I cannot explain how scared I was at this point of this man. So he walks in, he grabs my clothes, and he walks out. I'm like, where the fuck is he taking those?
No, it sounds like he's just trying to continue the abuse in like some other way. Steal the clothes from her, continue just like psychologically torturing her.
Turns out he had taken my clothes, the only clothes that I had, because mind you, I had booked this Airbnb for one night. All of our actual stuff was in Honolulu. So these were the only clothes I had. He had taken them and placed them out.
That's a good question. I wonder how she was able to hold on to all the evidence if she was constantly checking her phone. But he probably would send it to herself or email it to herself or something in a way that he wouldn't be able to see it.
So I then had to run outside in a towel, completely naked, into the middle of this parking lot of our Airbnb, grab my clothes, and then he locked me out. At that point, I didn't feel anything besides fear and numb. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry.
Oh, she had a private folder. What does that mean? Do you like put a password on a private folder or something?
I felt numb and scared. The only emotion I could feel was anxiety. And like nothing was real. I just couldn't believe this was my life. I could.
I'm a little older. I didn't know you could do that. Okay.
Not believe that this was my life. And I remember I was like, there's no way this is ever going to end. Because now it's been 3 times. That he's done this. So, and mind you, not that it matters, but I had paid for our entire vacation to Hawaii. I had spent about $5,000 for us to get there. I had been paying for all this food. Mind you, I haven't mentioned this yet, but at this time, as he's doing all of these things to me, he is making no money from his current job that he had, his door knocking business.
Well, it sounded like it wasn't a real job. It sounds like he would just fuck around and just be like an entitled little bitch all the time.
For window washing. So for about 5 months of our relationship, 5 months, while he was doing all of this, he was completely financially responsible on me. Every meal that he would eat came out of my pocket. Every vacation.
I wonder if there was like a part of her that would almost feel like if she left him, he would be stranded without her. And that contributed to the guilt that she might have felt with this whole situation.
Every flight, every article of clothing, every bottle of water I would pay for. And he was still doing this to me. The Airbnb that he beat my head into a door in, I had bought. Not that it matters, but just to add to the wow of it all.
Because I've been there before. Like, I've never been in this type of relationship, but I've been in a relationship with when I was like the primary like financial provider, and I felt like if I left the person, that they would be stranded without me. So if I wonder if that's part of the thing that's keeping her there.
Yeah, I had been financially providing for him for the entire time all this was happening, including paying his car. But that night, same thing, wake up, he apologized.
Yeah, like financial abuse, but in like the opposite direction, you know what I mean? Like normally you would have financial control over somebody so that you could take advantage of them and make them do certain things. But in this instance, it's almost like a guilt complex. Like she feels guilty. She feels bad for him,
And I'm just so broken as a person. I've already let it slide once. What's another time? So the 29th, we ended up just spending the day in North Shore, acting like things were normal, kind of like the first time. But it was just different. Like I felt really sad. And why would you be sad in Hawaii? Who's sad in Hawaii on vacation? So then the next day, our Airbnb runs out of time. And so I'm like, so basically we extended our flight, but our Airbnb, so we were trying to stay an extra day, but our Airbnb was up. So we had to move from one Airbnb to another. And it was his idea that while we waited for our new Airbnb to be ready, we go drive up a mountain in Hawaii and just like go up there and hike. And I'm like, okay, I'm down. So we drop all of our luggage off at, this like luggage holding place. So we end up driving all the way up this mountain, and I don't know what pissed him off. I'm kind of forgetting what exactly got him this time, but for some reason he was really mad. And so he's like, just leave me the fuck alone, and walks into the jungle away from me once we had driven to the top of this mountain. I'm like, okay, odd. So he walks away, and at this point I call my mom, and I don't tell her that he had been physical with me, but I tell her that he had been accusing me of cheating nonstop, and he was very unfaithful, or not unfaithful, but yeah, he was unfaithful, but that he was very not trusting. And I was just like, what do I do? And she's like, this isn't normal, he should be trusting of you, especially when he has no reason not to trust you, and basically just giving me advice. And we're on the phone for 45 minutes, and I do not see this man at all. Like, he had just walked into the jungle with this fireball and just disappeared. So then he, after 45 minutes, comes back to the mopeds, And he gets on it without saying a word to me. And I'm like, hey, is everything okay? Like, you were gone for a long time. I couldn't find you. I was scared to go into there because, like, it was muddy. Like, I don't know. I was just nervous. Like, I didn't want to go into the jungle alone. And he just looked at me, put his AirPods in, and drove off down this mountain. And I'm like, where the fuck are we going? So I get on my moped and I start chasing him down this mountain to the point where I literally like crashed my moped chasing after him. He was full throttling it down this mountain, trying to lose me. And it's raining at this point in Hawaii, and I'm just like swerving, and I'm trying to keep up with him. I have no idea where he's going. So I end up following him. He drove 30 minutes back to the storage place with our luggage, and he's picking it up. And I'm like, where are you going? Like, why are you picking up our luggage? Like, are we going back to the new Airbnb? Like, are we going to the new Airbnb? He's like, no, I'm going back home. I'm going home. Like, fuck you. And I'm like, what did I do? And he's like, I just know you're going to cheat on me, so I kind of want to end it now.
Okay.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I just know you're going to cheat on me. Like, I just don't feel like waiting around to see you cheat on me, so I'm just going to leave.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's because he met some other girl and wants to, like, fuck her or something. I don't really understand, because he just seems to be like an absolutely abusive person.
Mine just 2 days after I'm putting his hands on me, and I should have just...
And I would imagine that he enjoys the power that he has over her.
Let him go. But I'm not gonna blame myself. I cannot explain the mindset that I was in. So I'm like, no, you're not. So I grab his passport. This is one of the...
And then if he can blame her for it, and he can get her to go back, and he can stay there in some capacity, then he gets to come back home and, like, manipulate her further.
Stupid shit I did, but I did not want him to go. So I grab his passport and I run all the way down to, like, this hotel bathroom. And I call his mom off of my phone, and I'm like, hi, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't want to have to bring you into our relationship. Like, I know this is, like, not the vibes, but
okay.
Evan today's been really rude to me. He's been calling me names. He's trying to break up with me. He's saying he knows I'm going to cheat on him. Like,
I don't mean to be that guy, but I imagine his mother, like, coddled him or something, because if I ever treated a woman this way, my mother would probably beat me until I was dead. You know, so I don't know. Does the mother actually care? Would the mother ever actually care, or just downplay it?
I feel like he's just trying to run from the relationship, and I don't tell her that he had been putting hands on me. And she was like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to call him and try to talk to him. So she calls him, and they're talking, and at this point, he ends up riding his moped to the new Airbnb and not to the airport.
Yeah, there's no way the parents aren't aware. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no way. Like, they definitely saw signs of this behavior of, like, growing up. And
so we get into the Airbnb, and he's like, you know what, Mom, I'll call you back. And so it's our first time, like, being in a space together, and he wasn't ignoring me since the moped ride down the mountain. And I'm just like, why do you want to break up? I'm not going to cheat on you. It's just, like, exhausting. I was just like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, I just know you are, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? So we start screaming at each other, and I'm like, you're fucking drunk. Because mind you, at this point, I just found out that while he was on the mountain, he had drank the entire thing of 12 shooters. He had drank all 12 shooters on this mountain. So he's hammered, and we start yelling, and oh, would you guess it? Things got physical again. I was, like, in the corner of the room by the glass door, and I'm in, like, fetal position, and he's just beating the fuck out of me, punching my arm as hard as he can, just punching me. And so I, like, run out.
Honestly, I'm surprised she's alive. Like, this is insane with how many times that he's engaging in this behavior with her. I'm surprised that she's alive to tell the story. This is absolutely horrifying.
Right onto the balcony just to get away from him. And I end up calling my mom, and I'm like, Mom, like, why does he think I'm gonna cheat? And at this point, I have her on speaker. I'm, like, so manic. Like, I've gotten beat. Like, I can't even explain how manic I felt. Like, this dude had beaten the fuck out of me twice on this trip so far already, and he's now trying to break up with me because he thinks I'm gonna cheat. Like, bro, I just stayed with you and you beat the fuck out of me, but you're, like, you know what I mean? Like, the manipulation of it all. Like, he just beat the fuck out of me, and now he's breaking up with me because he just knows I'll cheat on him. And I, like, that's honestly what he said. He was fully convinced that I was just going to cheat on him, so he wanted to save himself from getting hurt now. So I call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, tell him how loyal I am. Like, Mom, do you think I'd ever do that? Like, what the fuck? And I want to say, when you get to a position like this, when somebody's this crazy about you cheating, it's more than, like, I would never cheat on you. It's more of, like, do you even fucking know me? Like, do you know me at all to think I'm capable of doing something like that? You know, it's just like, what the fuck? And so I'm just, like, crying, and he's, like, saying fucked up shit to me on the phone with my mom. My mom heard it all, and I just look at him, and I'm like, you're a fucking alcoholic, and I hang up on my mom. And that, since the day she never liked him. So we end up calling his parents on the balcony, and they talk him off the ledge he was on, and he's like, we're gonna stay together. Like, I guess I just have trust issues from my childhood, and I'm just taking them out on her, and I love her so much. I'm just so scared to lose her. I love her too much. Like, I love her too much.
I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any of that. This kid sounds like he grew up entitled and getting away with whatever he wanted. I don't believe that he has trust issues. I believe that he uses this as an excuse to be abusive. I think that he justifies it by saying, well, I have this issue. We all have fucking issues. You know, you don't see people going around violently beating their partner. So I think it's all an excuse. And his parents let him get away with it. Like, he's been conditioned that it's okay for him to make, you know, bullshit excuses and he can get away with it. That's all. That's what it boils down to for me. There's no fucking way.
I'm obsessed with her. And so I'm sitting here like, oh, he's just obsessed with me, whatever. So yeah, beat me on the 28th and the 30th. So it was like a double whammy in Hawaii. So yeah, the next day we ended up going back on a flight to California. So the last time he had put his hands on me was the last day we were in Hawaii, which was August 30th. And then fast forward and we go to New Jersey for a photo shoot that I had. And then we decided to celebrate that photo shoot by going to New York on September 5th. So September 5th, we end up taking a train down to New York, and we were just going to spend, I think, 2-3 days in New York. He had never been there. We were in New Jersey. It's an hour train ride, so like, let's do it. So we end up going out to Times Square that night, and we're having a good time. I meet a group of girls down there. They're super nice, and we're just like all having a great time. And I don't know what happened again. He gets belligerently drunk, and he is mad at me, and he will not talk to me, and he's ignoring me. That at this point in our relationship, it was in the middle of it. He would do this thing to where he would get mad at me for no reason, especially when he drank, and then he would just ignore me, go completely mute, silent, ignore me, like act like I don't exist. And then it would just drive me crazy, and I would just start crying, and I'd get really upset, and then I'd go quiet. And then like 2 hours later, he would just act like nothing happened and be like, how are you, babe? After ignoring me for 2 hours while I'm like scream sobbing about how like, please talk to me, like what's wrong? So this was the beginning of that phase for him. So he gets mad at, I don't even know what, in New York. And we end up going to Five Guys, and we're eating. He's not talking to me, and I'm like, hey, babe, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm actually trying to figure out what's wrong. And old me comes back for a second. I kind of like get my dignity up again, and I start calling him out for it. And I'm like, you look dumb as fuck. You're sitting here in New York for fucking free, mad at what? And so I'm sitting here like making fun of him, and I'm like, you're sitting here mad as fuck. You're in New York for free. You're celebrating me and the photo shoot I just did. And you're in New York. And you're mad for what? Like, what the fuck are you mad about right now? And so I'm calling him out for his shit. And he's sitting there silent. He's sitting there silent. He's sitting there silent. And he's just sitting there silent, like not saying anything. Sitting there, he's not saying anything at all. And I'm just poking the bear. He's ignoring me. He's not paying attention to me. And this was in the beginning of his phase of doing this, so I didn't really know how to treat it or react to it. And so I'm just poking the bear. Like, what the fuck are you mad about? You're in New York for free to celebrate me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, and later find out this is a form of narcissism, to where something isn't about them. When something isn't about them and they want it to be about them, they have to cause a problem to create a solution to make it about them. You know, why are you mad? Why are you mad? Instead of
Interesting. I've never heard that before.
congratulations, babe. So instead of celebrating me and congratulations, Kayla, it's me being like, what are you upset about? Are you okay? And just it's a narcissistic tendency. Later to find out that's exactly what it is. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this tonight. So I'm just sitting there, and so we go down to the subway, we get on the train, and he's still not talking to me. And so we get off of the subway train, and he's ignoring me. He has not said a single word to me. And so we get to a side street, waiting for the light to turn green, because we're walking to our hotel for us to walk, and we're standing there on this corner. And you want to know what the first thing he said to me was? After ignoring me for 4 hours, he looks at me and he just goes, slut. I remember I felt so much rage in my body, and I shouldn't have done this. I know I shouldn't have. But mind you, he had put his hands on me so many times at this point that I wasn't desensitized.
What is she going to hit him? I mean, I don't really care if she hits him. I would just be reactive abuse at that point.
To it, but I was just like, what the fuck? So I slap him in the face. Not that hard. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't really care. I don't know. Like, if he's beating you and she slapped him back, I mean, I wouldn't care at all. She could have stabbed him for all I care, and I wouldn't have given a shit. But it's not something that would have been like, oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. I don't really expect people that are put into like really hostile environments to act perfectly. So
it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have slapped him in the face. Looking back,
no, I mean, I think you should have done worse. But you know,
look at it. I'm like, finally, I got my one lick back, because I could never hit that man back ever, because he was so strong. I would never fight back.
If I ever treated my wife like a tenth of the way that this guy has treated her, she would just stab me to death in my sleep. I mean, you know, that's called affirming boundaries. Okay.
Honestly, I actually don't care. I don't care. I'm happy I slapped him in the face. He really fucking deserves it. So I slapped him in the fucking face. Sorry, fucking cry about it. Slapped him in the face. He looked me after ignoring me. Mind you, he ignored me for 4 hours. He's beaten the fuck out of me 5 times at this point.
Jesus.
He's in New York and he's ignoring me for 4 hours on Times Square for no reason, mad for no reason, and just looks at me and goes slut. So I slapped him in the fucking face. Sorry, fuck you. And I'm getting really mad thinking about this. This part is not funny though. Slap him in the face and I start walking away towards the hotel. I then hear him coming up from behind me. And he didn't know what he was gonna do. Mind you,
I can't imagine how worried she was the second that she smacked him and started like walking away instantly, because you know that she probably lost herself, which by the way is completely justifiable. And then she started walking away because she knew that something was about to be fucking terrible. Honestly,
we're in public. Like, what is he gonna do? What would he do? He then runs up to me and shoves me as hard as he can down a subway.
Like down the stairs of the subway?
Down a subway, like the subway things, where you go down to catch the subway.
Yeah, I mean, I live close to New York. Those are fucking terrible to get shoved down, I would imagine.
Pushed me as hard as he could down one of those. And I fell backwards like this. So I fell backwards. He shoved me as hard as he could down there. And my body literally skipped all the stairs, fell down, smack on my back, and I just slide down the subway stairs. And I remember when I fucking hit the bottom, I couldn't feel my body, I couldn't feel my legs, I couldn't fucking move anything. So I'm sitting there screaming, I can't fucking move, and I'm just screaming. I'm like, I'm fucking paralyzed. Like, I thought I was paralyzed. I'm like, I can't feel anything, please help, I can't get up. And I had hit my back at the very bottom, and I literally could not get up, I could not walk, I could not feel anything. I was in so much fucking pain, and I couldn't move my legs. It was like the most excruciating feeling. I couldn't move. And I look, and he's just standing at the top like this, just looking at me laying down, and all of a sudden this girl runs down, and she's like, what the fuck just happened? Hold on. She's like, what the fuck just happened? And she runs down, and she grabs me, and she's like, are you fucking okay? I'm calling an ambulance right now. And I'm just like sobbing, and I'm like, he shoved me down the stairs. And she looks up, and Evan, and he's standing right there, and he's just looking down. And at that point, he like comes down and he's like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, get the fuck away from her. I just saw you shove her down these stairs. And he's just like, no, I didn't. She's like, I'm calling the fucking cops. And he takes off and he runs away.
Why isn't he dead? Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. That's probably not appropriate to say. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, he obviously knows what he did. He didn't lose himself in the moment. He's doing this because he likes doing it. Like, there's no way that you can convince me that this isn't even an anger problem at this point. This isn't even him losing himself in like anger and having a problem and coming out of that anger response and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. This is him like making meticulous moves to be abusive towards her. He like over and over and over again. Holy fuck. I mean, this guy just isn't somebody who's congruent with our society. I mean, that's just it. That's it's fucking insane.
This dude shoves me down a fucking subway train, and I'm sitting here saying I can't fucking move. I can't walk. And he fucking runs away before even knowing if I can if I'm okay. Because he was scared of going to jail. So the girl ends up helping me up. The cops come, they're looking for him. He ended up hiding. The girl walked me back to my hotel room. I go into my hotel room and I'm sitting up there. I can't fucking walk. I'm in so much fucking pain. I'll insert a picture. I ended up having... I wish I
should have went to the hospital.
Or pictures of it,
she was okay. I mean, getting pushed that far down, like, I could imagine there could potentially be like some kind of internal bleeding.
He was the only person that would be able to take pictures of my back, because it's on my back, and he obviously didn't want to. So, I have one picture, and I had the biggest bruise I've ever seen on my back. I wasn't able to walk without being in pain, and
Oh, Jesus, did she like slide down the stairs? Is that what that is?
About 4 years ago, I was in a car accident. And I had messed up this lower part of my back, so this had kind of like restarted the injury, and so I couldn't walk without being in pain, so I kind of had to like limp around, and she walks me back up to the hotel room, and 2 hours later, after I'm falling asleep, I'm just sobbing. I'm sobbing, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Once again, who am I gonna call? And he calls me, and he's like, the cops are outside, fuck you, why did you let her call the cops? And I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? And he starts yelling at me. He's like, I can't even go up to our fucking hotel room right now because that girl just called the cops. And I'm like, dude, you just shoved me down subway trains. I can't fucking walk. Like, my back's fucked up. And I had, like, scrapes on my arms and shit from, like, sliding down the subway. And I'm like, I'm fucking in so much pain right now, and you're mad at me that the cops are here. Like, what the fuck? And she's like, you shouldn't have let that girl call the fucking cops. And he's screaming at me on the phone. So I just hang up on him, and I'm just sobbing at this point even more, because once again, he never apologized. Like, what the fuck? Around 6 in the morning, I'm pretty sure.
I'll say that apology is probably the least of the problems here. him not apologizing. Jesus fuck.
He ends up sneaking into the hotel through like a back door and knocks at the hotel door. And I let him in, and I'm pretty sure this hotel room, I had 2 twin beds, so he slept on one and I slept on the other.
Jesus Christ.
We were in New York for, I think, 2 more days after that, and I couldn't walk the whole time. And what do you do in New York? You walk everywhere, and I couldn't walk. So I was in pain.
It's insane to me how normal this is for her, like in her relationship at this point, where like this is like what, the second or third time that she's like fallen asleep near him afterwards. And I'm not blaming her for this at all. Like, this has just become such normalized behavior of him like hurting her in a violent capacity, and then them just kind of almost moving on from it, at least in some capacity. Just like, okay, that happened. Oh, and it's kind of your fault, which is what his like perspective seems to be.
The entire fucking time, because he had shoved me down a subway train station. And the next day I called my mom, and I lied to her, and I said I slipped and fell. Because what the fuck am I going to say? Later down the line, I ended up telling his brother about this. On our way back from a Christmas family vacation, I told him, and I was like, he pushed me down subway stairs.
Wait, whose brother did she tell?
On our way back from later down the line, I ended up telling his brother about this.
Okay, his brother. Gotcha.
On our way back from a Christmas family vacation, I told him, and I was like, he pushed me down subway stairs.
How much did he care?
And to this day, that is the only time he would own up to ever putting his hands on me to my friends when they called him out for it, when they ended up catching him mid-act. We'll get there. But he would only own up to shoving me down the subway stairs. So that was probably one of the worst times, because I did think I was paralyzed. That injury was probably the scariest. I've never had that back pain like that in my life. I've never, if you've been to New York, you know how steep they are. They go like straight down. They're pure concrete. They literally go like this. And he had shoved me from the top.
And then there's usually like a metal, not barriers on them, like metal grips, I guess you'd call them, for your feet to kind of dig into. So they're kind of squared out, like whatever it's called. You know what I mean? So that makes it even worse, I would imagine.
I slammed all the way down here on my back. My back hit a concrete stair, and I slid down slowly. And he didn't even try to help me. He ran off because the cops were coming. She called the cops, and then he blamed it on me that the cops were there and that he couldn't go to bed till 6 a.m. Yeah. I'm like out of tears to fucking cry. So September 5th, that happened. I'm sure you could guess how things went. There was still the verbal abuse throughout it. That time, I'm pretty sure during that time, this live stream happened. I'll insert it at the end, to where he was just being rude, and it was on lives. Thankfully, somebody had clipped it. So I'm able to have that of just how he would talk to me. I'm pretty sure it was around this time. Just the verbal abuse. He hadn't been physical. He would do things to where it's like he would pinch me and know that it would hurt me as hard as he could. He would do little things that weren't necessarily domestic violence, but pinch me as hard as he could because he knew it would hurt me, or just do little things because he knew.
I mean, that sounds like domestic violence. Like, you know what I mean? Just because it's pinching doesn't make it not domestic violence. You know what I mean?
It would hurt me.
Like, my wife and I bite each other a little bit here and there playfully. That's not domestic violence. This guy's pinching her, probably like harshly, to try to just harm her, just for the fun of it. Yeah, that's some kind of domestic something.
But nothing significant. And then October 22nd.
It's just so childish that you wouldn't even think it would be some kind of an abuse. You know what I mean?
Came
or at least I guess she doesn't think that it is.
I'm pretty sure it was either October 20th, 21st, or 22nd. It was one of my friend's birthdays. It was right around Halloween. And we got invited. And this was a birthday party with a lot of friends that I knew and people I wanted him to meet. And so I was really excited. And at this point, we were in California. And he had basically moved in to California, my house there. We would go back to Nashville maybe once a month because he had like a probation.
That scared the shit out of me.
Because he had like a probation check-in. But besides that, he was basically living in California with me at this point. He was completely financially dependent on me. Yeah, just like giving some lore on our relationship. And yeah, so we're spending every day together at this point. And new character into the story. This is one of my best friends, Brennan, who we started to hang out with a lot during
Is he like a gay guy?
this time.
Sorry,
Especially
my wife is a gay best friend. And Brennan is just a gay name.
I'm on my roommate. While I was stuck with my boyfriend, Emma would hang out with Brennan. And just for a little side story, Brennan is a gay man.
I mean, at least give me that for clocking that one. Come on, give it to me. The only time that we can laugh throughout this whole thing. The only funny little joke I was able to throw in there. So we're having a fun time. That's the only fun time we've ever had in this video. The rest of it is almost violently depressing. The rest of it, violently depressing. This one moment, we got to laugh for 1 second, guys. We got to laugh for a singular second of this whole fucking video. A little bit of brevity.
My boyfriend did not believe that he was gay. And this story is a time that...
I feel like if we found what Brennan looked like, he probably, like, you know, there's like a look. They usually dress nicer than us straights, you know what I mean?
We were together. She said
wrong button. Sorry. Let me.
So it's October 22nd, and we go to this Halloween party, like I was saying, and we get there, and it's Brennan, Emma, me, and my boyfriend. And so I'm introducing him to everybody, and, you know, I'm talking to all of my friends because a lot of my friends were there, and he starts to get upset that I wasn't talking to him the whole time and I was talking to my friends. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I'm just trying to say hi to everybody. I haven't seen them in a while because also he did not allow me to go out to parties. So I hadn't seen...
Yeah, what a fucking shocker. My wife and I will get together. Sometimes we'll go and hang out with her friends. Like, a lot of times we drive to different states because some of them have moved. And, like, the normal is, like, we'll get together, we'll all hang out together, and then I'll just go do something. Usually I like to shop. I know it's cringe, but I like to go to malls, so I'll let her hang out with her friends because they're childhood friends and everything, and then I'll go shop. And this way we have a time where we're all together and she can be herself with her friends, you know, because everybody acts a little differently around different people, you know. So, yeah, that's a normal thing people do. But I'm not surprised that he fucking, you know, engages in a different level of abuse of not letting her see her friends. It's isolation. Like, at this point, we know enough about him. It's an isolation tactic. It's like, oh, I don't want you to have a support structure. That's what it reads to me as.
Seen these people in a really long time, so I'd always see them at parties. And this was our first time going to a party in, like, a really long time, probably since, like, the 4th of July. So he just is, like, upset with me. And so then my boyfriend is, like, talking to this one influencer, and I'm talking to Brennan, okay?
Is it a girl
and
influencer?
My boyfriend had met Brennan plenty.
I'm just curious because he seems to like to just to flirt with other girls all the time and then, like, call her a cheater so that he can justify his cheating.
Of times at this point. Plenty of times. And my boyfriend was still just convinced that he was not gay. So me and Brennan are talking about something and he can't hear me. So I, like, go up to his face and I, like, grab his face and I'm, like, whispering like this. I'm trying to think of exactly how I did it. Like, I'm pretty sure I went like this to his face and, like, grabbed his cheek so he would, like, hear in my ear, like, something like that. Like, I was trying to grab his face so I could get closer to his ear and he would, like, listen to me. So I'm pretty sure it's like, pretend I'm Brennan and, like, you're grabbing my face. It's kind of like a this, and then, like, you're whispering in my ear like this, right? Yeah. So I'm whispering in his ear, trying to tell him something. And then my boyfriend comes up to me and he's like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, what are you talking about? Wait, what did I do? And he was like, why were you grabbing his face like that? And I was like, what do you mean? And, like, I actually didn't know what he was talking about because I didn't do anything I didn't do anything weird that would be, like, alarming to somebody, as, like, you know, I was doing, like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't do anything. I was just talking to him. And he's like, oh, so you're gonna fucking lie to me now? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he grabs me as hard as he can. And mind you, we're at a party with people everywhere. He grabs my face, he goes like this. You grabbed him like this. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, I didn't do that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I did, like, I don't remember doing that. So then he goes up to Brennan and he's like,
just the way that she talked, it sounded like she was afraid. I mean, she should be afraid, but, like, what a fucking wild concept. I don't know. I feel like a normal person would be terrified of making their partner feel terrified. That's a normal response.
Like, I want you to fuck. He goes up to Brennan and he goes, I want you to fuck my girlfriend right now. And he's like, what the fuck did you just say? And he's like, I want you to fuck my girlfriend right now. Kayla, dance on him right now. And he's, like, sitting there screaming at me. He's like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of Brennan if you do not dance on him right now. You need to twerk on him right now. Twerk on him right now. And so I'm sitting there like, what the fuck's going on? And so I'm trying to take it as, like, a joke because it's, like, a very awkward situation. So I start just, like, dancing with Brennan and he's like, no, twerk on Brennan. Start twerking on fucking Brennan. And at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So Brennan's very uncomfortable and we're just sitting there like, what the fuck's happening? And so he's like, no, like, we need to go talk. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? So we end up going to this back room. This was at a nightclub in Los Angeles. So there's a downstairs and upstairs, and then there's the bathrooms, and then there's a back room with curtains that nobody's supposed to go in, and there's, like, a bunch of chairs in there. It's like a storage room. So he brings us back there, and it's just chairs and, like, storage, and it's, like, completely dark in there, and nobody's in there. And he starts screaming at us, and he's like, I know you want to fuck my girlfriend. You're not fucking gay, Kayla. You're a fucking whore. You want to fuck him. You want to fuck him. You want to fuck him. And he's like, I want you guys to fuck right now. Go ahead, fuck right in front of me. And we're sitting there, and at this point, I'm, like, crying, and I'm like, please stop. Like, I don't know what you're, like, this is so weird. Like, why are you talking to my friends like this? Like, he's gay. Like, I didn't do anything. Like, I was talking to him. And at this point, I don't even know what he's still talking about when he's like, why were you...
Even if this was a scenario where she was, like, legitimately cheating on him or something, this wouldn't be the response. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not even justifiable. Like, you could just leave. You know, you're not married. Is this like a month in or something? So even if she was fucking cheating, none of him body slamming her, it's never the response. This is never the response. It's disgusting. Like, it doesn't even matter. The worst of the worst that she could have done, which she obviously did not do, could have happened. It's still not a justifier for his fucking behavior.
Touching him like that. And I'm like, I still don't know what he's talking about, because all I was doing was like I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so
you see her working through it in her head, like she's just still so like she's still so frantic about like, I was just doing this. Like, yeah, I believe you, but like this is her entire support structure right now is him. Like she seems to have like a decent relationship with her mom, no relationship with her dad, like no productive relationship with her father. The reason why she's susceptible to abuse is because her father is fucking wasn't there for her. Let's be absolutely real, and apparently would yell at her. So he normalized the behavior. Like he is frankly a pretty big contributor to why she was put through this situation. And like he's a big part of her support structure, and he's like super abusive, and like she's used to having to overly justify very obviously correct things that she's like right about.
So at this point, he ends up grabbing Brennan and throwing him into chairs. So he like gets in his face and he's like screaming at him, and he's like, "You want to fuck my girlfriend? You want to fuck my girlfriend, bro? You want to fuck my girlfriend?" Picks him up, throws him into the chairs, because there's like a bunch of chairs. Turns around and is like, "Yeah, fuck you, bitch," and throws me into the chairs. And so me and Brennan are laying in these chairs, like, what the fuck? And I'm like getting up, and somebody walks in. One of my very good friends, shout out to him, and he walks in, he's like, "Yo, is everything okay?" And my boyfriend's like, "Yeah, things are fine," and walks out. And then I walk out, and then Brennan walks out, and I went to the bar, and I got as hammered as I could to forget it. Because, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? What the fuck am I gonna do?
You could hit him with a hammer. That's another funny moment for you guys.
So yeah, that was one of the times he accused me of wanting to fuck my gay friend, and my gay friend fucked me. Yeah. So now we're going to October 30th. So about a week later, I was having a very exciting Spencer's drop coming out. So I wanted to go to Nashville to be out of the LA party scene so I could actually focus. And at this point, I was having a lot of issues with the house I was living in. So I just wanted to get an Airbnb in Nashville. Plus, Evan had like a drug check-in around then. So for his probation. Oh, plus around this time, my boyfriend was having like a check-in with his probation around that time. So we had to be down there anyways, and I just wanted to be in a fresh area so I could really focus on my work and not go to Halloween parties, because it was right around Halloween. So we're in Nashville, and we get invited to a house party, and
incredible.
It's the 30th or 31st. It's around there. It's like it was either right before Halloween or right after Halloween, and we get invited to this party. And me and my boyfriend are sitting in the car for like 2 hours instead of going to this party, and we're supposed to meet up with his friends. And so after 2 hours, we get out of the car and we walk into this house party with his friends, and it ends up being like the wrong house party. I don't know. It was like lame or something. And so like we're all like, okay, like we should go. And my boyfriend had went into the backyard to see if anybody was back there, and I'm just like in the house with his friends. And he walks back in, and his friend is like, "Okay, we should leave." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's leave." And so we all walk out. So then my boyfriend and me get in the car, and we're like, "Okay, it's time to go." And my boyfriend looks at me and he goes, "Why the fuck were you only ready to go and my friend was ready to go?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You only said you wanted to go because my friend said he wanted to go." And I was like, "No, like we were all saying we wanted to go. Like what are you tweaking about right now?" So he's like, "Let me grab your fucking phone. Like give me your phone. I want to go through it." He grabs my phone. He goes through it to see if I added his friend on Snapchat. I never did. And then he slams my head up against the window again. And I'm like, "Get me the fuck out of the car. Get me out of the car. I might not be able to finish this tonight."
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even be able to start it. Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna take a break for a second, guys. This is a lot.
Let's continue with this. Let's continue with this part.
Fucking bash my fucking...
Oh my god.
Good. Did you get fucked by big black niggas? I hope so, you
All right, well, there it goes.
fucking slut.
All right, let's watch his response. Apparently this isn't like a now response. This is like a little old from when this situation first started to get talked about.
The 9 months we were together, she said the whole 9 months I was abusing her. Right?
Yeah, true.
Why would we go out all the time and do all these crazy adventurous stuff if the whole time it was just terrible?
Okay. I mean, like, I don't even know what to say to that. This guy's obviously a fucking moron. Jesus Christ. That's the response? Okay. Okay. The response is like, why would I do this? Why would you still stay with me if I beat the shit out of you constantly, which we just watched? Yeah. Okay. I wonder why. I don't know. Maybe that's just how the like abuse network works here.
If I was such this terrible guy, why would she be with me? She could have left me at any second. She's way more up there than me. She's has more money. Like all this stuff, she don't need me. She don't need me. And if she figured I was no good for her in the time being, she would have left immediately. I promise you that. She exaggerates.
I'm genuinely curious what she even saw in this guy in the first place. He's clearly very unintelligent. He can't even like structure a sentence properly. He's poor. What? I don't understand. Not to be rude to poor people. And he's abusive. I don't really understand what she saw in the first place. You know, I'm not blaming her for being in the relationship. I understand this can be very complicated, and just trying to leave somebody that's abusing you is not easy. But like, this guy has nothing going for him. Also, the fucking haircut. I mean, come on. He has a haircut of like a 14-year-old fucking kid.
Exaggerates. And she figured out her views, or she's like, I need to make a series. I need to do something. And now that me and her broken up, it's like, does she really love me? Like she's saying what she does behind the scenes to me. Like, I love you. I miss you. All this stuff behind the scenes. But then goes on there and tells you guys a whole different fantasy tale. I don't understand it. And abusive, mentally, I guess, we both, I mean, I'm gonna hold myself accountable, and I hope she, like, we would say crazy shit to each other all the time.
The accountability virtue signal, guys. There it is.
And I guess it came to a point where I was controlling, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with you going out to the bars. Or, hey, I don't want to go out to the bars. Let's stay home. If that's controlling, that's crazy.
No, this is how you know that, like, he knows what he's doing when he's being, like, abusive to her. Because that's a normal thing to do in a relationship. Hey, I'm not comfortable with you going to bars by yourself without me. It's a little insecure, but I think that that's a fine level of insecurity for a relationship as long as it goes both ways. He knows what he's doing is disgusting. He threw her down a fucking flight of stairs. This is a downplay. This is intentional. He does not care. Like, this guy does not care. There's no good moments with this guy.
I want to live a slow life and travel and just be us. We had to tag Emma along everywhere we went because they wanted to do stuff together. They wanted to go out parties. She said since she just turned 18,
yeah, she's a fucking kid. Of course she wants to go out and party.
It's her first time going to bar life. Her and Emma both went to bars together. That's her bar buddy. And then she met me, and I'm like, I don't want to be in the party life. Alcohol is a big problem for me.
Yeah, no kidding. So then you shouldn't be with her. Like, why would you be with her if you don't like the party life? I don't believe that because he's constantly drinking. I think he's probably an alcoholic to some degree.
99% of our arguments were drunk related, like just insanely drunk, and we would argue and fight with each other and just call each other outrageous names and then apologize. And I was like, it got to a point where it's like, this is unhealthy. Like, I should not be calling you these names because I genuinely loved her, and I still do. And it's like, I don't know why I would call her those names. And I was like, I still have trauma. I have trauma from when I was younger that it only comes out when I'm drinking. Like,
yeah, I don't believe that.
I
just don't believe that. It's an excuse. This guy has no trauma associated with him.
I'm someone I'm not, and I'm like, I don't want to be that mean guy. I want to be that normal guy. I've gave up drinking. I don't do any of that. I've been fixing myself.
I don't believe that.
Acknowledging myself, knowing what I did was wrong. And I don't think she's growing. She says she's growing. She still went out to party. She's still drinking. She's still doing all this. And she just goes on TikTok and says, like, my life's terrible. I'm actually me now. Why were you with me?
Jesus Christ. All right, here's the part 2.
All right, immediately after the live, after saying how bad I was, after that...
Is this actually part 2?
She immediately went and texted me and said, sorry, I had to do that.
Audio's terrible.
I'm texting another guy that's a big influencer, and he's like, she's literally doing that to get clout chasing. And this all happened.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. So like I said earlier, like there's somebody that I trust that was talking to somebody that they trust. I can't like tell you like specific details that like knows this guy. And he apparently privately admitted that he would get drunk and he would be abusive. And like this is just one of his stories that he's telling. He's going around just trying to run the fence. I don't believe this story at all. I simply don't think that she's just doing it for clout. You know, I don't think that she's constructing a story for clout at all. I don't think that she's constructing a story for clout. I think that she's talking about her story, and there probably is a positive feeling associated with getting like positive affirmations about the story. But I don't think that she's faking anything.
What happened when she went to Tampa? Like, we were still together, I was working on myself and I was helping my family. What I fucked up in when she was in Tampa was lack of trust. I was immediately...
This whole thing, like, okay, so if the bail was $30,000 and this guy does some bullshit where he just walks around, knocks on doors and cleans windows, that it communicates to me, like, he doesn't have the money to be able to live by himself. That means that his parents are rich and that he's an entitled little brat that would get off on everything that he would do wrong. Like, that's what it communicates to me, is that, like, he grew up getting everything that he wanted.
Assuming...
Because $30,000 is a lot of money to get out on bail. So that's, I mean, the whole story makes sense. That makes sense of where it comes from, like the entitlement comes from.
That she was screwing this guy because she had 2 guys over at the Airbnb. And that night I was already just like, is she sleeping with him? Is she sleeping with him? I texted Emma's ex on the phone. I was texting him like, hey, let me know if this dude goes in the room with her. Let me know. Please let me know. And Kayla's like,
I shouldn't have paid $3,000 for his bond. Okay.
This is so obsessive. This is so crazy. Like I'm done. Call me drunk as shit, screaming at me, cussing at me. Fuck you. You're worthless without me. You are nobody, which I understand. She put me on the map. But at the same time, I can't deal with hate when I know I'm not the only one putting in. It takes 2 to tango. If you think I'm the only one that was abusive, she abused me so many.
Yeah, I do. I think that based on what I've seen, he's abusive to her. And then whatever reciprocal response she has is just reactive abuse. I don't care if she hit you sometimes or yelled back at you when you would physically abuse her. I don't give a fuck. Like, this isn't fantasy TikTok world where both people are bad. No, she's a kid, so she probably isn't acting perfectly. He's abusive, and there's no reason for him to be in our society at all.
Many times would degrade me, it's all about her, never about me. I'm living in her shadows. Abuse. We'd crash out at each other at events, drunk, arguments, fuck you. Yes, I might have said some unnecessary things. I never meant anything I've ever said to her that was like hurtful. It was more in spite of a mean argument.
Okay.
And that's when I would do that. And yes, I would be controlling. I would be like thinking she would like mess with guys and stuff. That's just my insecure self and me not really putting myself first and really growing on myself. So I was like, I need to go back home and really lock in because I want you, Kayla.
No,
like I need to fix this thing.
This is the whole virtue signal of introspection. This is what this is. All this is, like, he knows everything that he is wrong about, and he's just like, no, I'm just working on myself. I'm trying to lock in, guys. That's very mature for the moment. I'm just locking in, guys. I have to work on myself. I have so much past trauma. I have this. No, you don't. You don't have any of these things. Use these as an excuse. Somebody that would be this introspective would have engaged exponentially better with their problems. Everybody has problems. I've had my own issues with anger. I've never hit anybody. You know, I'm not proud of myself. It's such a shameful part of my life. But this guy, like, actively and it abuses, like, women, or at least her, and like enjoys it. You know, this is somebody who it just uses it as an excuse. Like, it's just a virtue signal to him.
Where I see a recurring cycle where I'm putting you down for no reason. Like, I want to go fix myself. So I came back to Nashville. We're still together. I'm still working on myself. And she texts me. Even after we broke up, she texts me and calls me. If I really abused her as bad as she's saying, why would she still text me? Why would...
Because she's fucking in love with you for some reason. Okay, that's just how abuse works, unfortunately, sometimes.
Would she still do the things she's...
Also, sometimes women think that they could change somebody. You know what I mean?
Doing. I don't understand. And watch, this is proof. Like, February 12th, 11:20 at night, she just snapped me again. I have her location, I have everything. Let's see what she did.
That's fucking terrifying.
And then she just sends me a snap, a regular snap.
Okay.
Like, what is that? And then she's like, saying, after you work on yourself, maybe time can heal us and we can be together if it's meant to be. But how are you going to say these things yet go online and say something so terrible where you have PTSD, you can't look at guys? If that's the case...
She's obviously still in love with him at this point that he posted this, because she's like, maybe if you get better, we can get back together. So that explains everything. He literally shows us the explanation of why she would give him another chance.
All I've ever done was, I was insecure about myself. I don't know why she would be PTSD about guys. And one, therapy, she never even wanted to go to therapy. I was like, I need to go get therapy myself. Came back to that.
I've heard that so many times from people. It seems like she's actually getting therapy. I believe her because she's consistent. It seems like she's actually aware of like herself and her feelings surrounding this situation more than you'd expect somebody of her age, and considering how recent this whole situation is. This guy is just saying therapy again as an excuse. Like, oh yeah, I am bad. I need therapy. You know, I'm somebody that like does generally believe in therapy. I think it's a great thing, and I believe in different parts of the justice system to help people, you know, move forward. But this guy weaponizes it. He takes advantage of it. He's not the kind of person that's like, I fucked up, I need help. He's the kind of person that like uses help as like a way to justify his behavior. Oh, I just need a therapist. It's really not my fault. You know, I have like a problem. I have trauma. I have this. It's not my fault. Like, no, it is your fault. It doesn't matter what past trauma you have. It's still you interacting with the situation.
Nashville. I'm in therapy right now. I'm doing therapy. That's because I wanted us to work. Now that I'm in therapy and I'm getting into modeling.
I'm in therapy and I'm getting into modeling. Okay, great. What a response.
It's going to be a multi-state case.
This is the brother.
But I do, like, y'all need to understand, like, how the justice system works. His sister bailed him out. But, he's not going to get locked up for like several months. He's not going to be in jail for a long time because he, if she actually really presses charges on him, then it's going to be a multi-state case. Because like the stuff that happened in New York, the reason I think what he got locked up for the other day was stuff that happened in Tennessee. So
I don't know, man. If it was my brother, I think I would do a lot more than just talking on fucking TikTok about it.
There's shit that happened in New York and Cali, Hawaii. You know what I'm saying?
Are these guys not brothers, or is this just like a wrong about that?
And like everywhere. So it's gonna take like several months for them to put everything together and actually have a case on him. So he's probably not gonna be locked up until like later in the summer.
This guy's not his brother,
which is kind of scary. Yeah, no, it's crazy to think about for sure. No doubt.
Apparently this is his friend and his brother. Okay, gotcha.
Evan is not locked up, no. No, it's kind of crazy. Out of all people, his sister bailed him out.
Why is that crazy?
Basically, Ezra's just trying to save his own ass right now by saying that he was never really all that close with Evan and that he does not agree with the way Evan treated Kayla. You can just tell by these texts.
Don't go to the fucking Target then. I'm going to throw you your damn flowers on the interstate if you're not back by 8:45. I'm more important than Target. I don't know. Women like Target a lot. Fine, I'll go with you. Wait till you get to your house and we'll ride together. Wow, what a loving situation.
The way he talks to me, disgusting.
Oh, is this like another girl? I thought this was the original girl for a second. I just saw blonde hair. This is a different girl. Okay, I wouldn't doubt that I don't know if he is abusive. These could be doctored messages, but at the end of the day, if you're friends with an abuser, you're probably also an abuser. I mean, you're a whore, and now I know she's a whore. Okay. No, bitch, huh? You're okay. Arslur, I didn't even answer. Baby, I want to cuddle. Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
One time, Ezra and I were at a party, and he thought it'd be so funny to take a torch lighter.
This is fucking insane to me because, like, again, I'm 35 years old, and when I was younger, I was not perfect. I never talked to any of my exes like this. You know, we would get into fights sometimes, and we had like stressors in our relationship. A lot of them were financial. Not even close to treated anybody like this, and I still feel guilty about the way that I reacted, even though my partner was like, you know, me and them had like a toxic relationship. We never got into physical altercations, but we would treat each other poorly. And that gives me like just so much anxiety, and like I'm so angry at like who I was as a person, and I'm not even like a tenth as bad as these guys. I can't imagine you escalating to this point and like feeling okay, even at 20 years old. I mean, this is fucking insane to me. This is wild. This is fucking it's just insane.
Not just any lighter, a torch lighter, like hotter than an oven, mind you, and put it on my thigh.
What the fuck?
I still have the scar. This is his ass feeling
You want to send me $30 for the numb cream and Neosporin? You're asking for money to get them numb cream for what you did to them?
guilty the next day after he burned me. And you are who you hang out with. My only reason for making this is for you guys to go and hopefully unfollow Ezra too. Actually, on my birthday, he told me I should,
How he treated Kayla is absolutely fucking disgusting.
He treated me the same. Here's some photos of us in case anyone says I don't actually know him. Ew.
Was that Ezra guy saying that like Kayla's disgusting?
Oh my god, ew. In Kayla's YouTube video, she said how Evan would always shame her and just like degrade her and verbally abuse her. Down to the sentence, Ezra would say the same shit to me.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. That's crazy. Did she release her response yet? Yeah, it looks like she hasn't released her second. I might watch it tomorrow, honestly. I think I need to take a break from this shit anyway. This is fucked up. I can't imagine how the fuck she's doing with this. Jesus fuck. Alright, this is his stuff. Gotcha. And just to be clear, he looks gay, okay? And that's not an insult. He's a handsome guy.
This video that I'm recording
But you know, I believe them both when they say that he's gay. I'm just being clear. That's not me being rude, okay?
Recording right now is one that I wish I didn't have to, but unfortunately, Evan Johnson decided to lay his hands on my best friend. So I'm here for Kayla.
Oh, so this is from 5 days ago. Okay.
And I'm here to expose Evan for everything that he fucking is, which is just nothing good. Well, for starters, I just want to say that we were at this party for Emma and Kayla's friends. I don't know, it was a birthday party, it was a Jersey night party, whatever, I don't know. But this is the guy I was with. I might cover his face up. But then there's me, and then there's Evan right here. And so yeah, this is the scene of the party. One of the first things that I could instantly tell that was wrong that night was, first of all, I was sober as fuck, which is good now because I remember everything that was said and done. But the second problem was Kayla was in the bathroom with her friends, all girls doing whatever girls do in the bathroom for however fucking long they are.
True.
And Evan sees her come out and pushes her up against this wall, or this wall, whichever side. The woman's bathroom was on one side. He pushed her onto the other wall when she walked out. And it was like, what the fuck are you doing in there? And she was like, oh, like, I was just like talking to Lila or Emma or whatever. And then he pushed her. He was like, no, what the fuck were you doing in there? And we all were like, yo, bro, like, chill the fuck out. But at that time, I did not know the severity of this. I honestly was just like, gonna pull Kayla aside and be like, yo, what was that about? But I did not think it was gonna be as severe as it got to be. Kayla had pulled me aside and was like, hey, can we take shots upstairs? And I was like, what? And then she like brings me closer and she like pulls my ear and she's like, can we take shots upstairs? And I was like, we are upstairs, bruh. And then she was like, just the Kayla thing where she just acts like she knows what you're saying and just smiles and nods. And then I was just like, okay, let's go. So we start walking towards the stairs to go downstairs. And Evan pulls her aside and is like, what the fuck are you doing? Yo, what the fuck are you doing? He was like, I know you want to fuck him. I know you want to fuck him. And we both were like, what the fuck? And he was like, no, you want to be a dirty slut? Like, dance on him, twerk on him, bitch. And then so she starts like silly dancing because once again, it wasn't that fucking serious at this point. But then he pushes her like head against the wall. Is like, no, start twerking. And then he goes behind me and starts trying to push me closer to behind Kayla. And Kayla's like my little sister. And also, I'm gay as fuck. Hi, anyone new to this? I'm gay as fuck.
I can tell. Okay. Looks a little gay. God bless. And he sounds a little gay. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not even an insult, okay? You could just tell there's like a lisp. It's cool. So, obviously, yeah.
And so I thought that was fucking clear. But he started pushing me behind. I was like, bro, I don't want to fuck your girlfriend. He was like, yes.
The fact that Evan doesn't have a gaydar says something. I feel like he does. I feel like he knows. I feel like Evan guy knows that this guy's gay. He knows that she's not cheating. I think that it's just a control tactic. I think that he just pretends to that, like, oh, she's cheating and tries to play this, like, gaslighting game. And just to fuck with her. Just so that, like, he can be abusive for whatever reason why. That's what I think it is. I think that he just gets off manipulating and abusing his fucking girlfriend. Or people around him in general, honestly.
Yes, you do. I was like, the dude that I'm here, my trade is right here. My trade of the night is right fucking here. What do you mean? I'm like, the guy I was with.
Yeah, we saw him. He was short. He looked like a little bit, you know.
Is right here. What the hell are you talking about? So he gets aggravated. And 3 times this happened. Someone comes up, hey, is everything okay? He's like, it's fine, it's fine. Once they came up out there, he pushed us into this back room. I didn't even fucking know was there. He just pushed us into this curtain, and there's a back room full of chairs and like tables and stuff like that. And just like fucking lifts me up and pushes me in. Listen, I'm 6'7", I'm tall as fuck, but like I was not expecting to get the fuck lifted up and thrown. So I was probably like fucking featherweight to him. Lifts me up, throws me into some fucking chairs. And does the same to Kayla. And it just does like this little like punch and kick shit to both of us. And like we were both like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like I literally was like, bro, what the hell is going on? And then he was like calling me F slur, calling me the N word. He was like, I beat up N words like you ass. I don't know why you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
he ends up saying like telling Kayla like, say you want to fuck him, say you want to fuck him, say you want to fuck her, Brandon. And I was like, we don't want to fuck each other, bro. And then at some point another person comes in and they're like, is everything okay? And I pretend Emma was on the phone. I was like, yeah, everything's okay, but I have to go find Emma. And then he took my phone. He was like, no one's on the fucking phone. He got me there. Honestly, there wasn't. I was trying to get the fuck out of there. Pushes me as hard as fuck as he can back into the chairs onto the ground. And then I'm just like sitting there because like I'm not going to do anything to him, okay? As scared as I wasn't going to disrespect. This is the man that Kayla was with. I didn't want to be disrespectful, and I also can't fucking fight. And he made sure to show me a video of him fighting someone and dislocating their jaw or whatever the fuck he did. He was like,
What the fuck? This guy's a little creep. This guy fucking kills little animals. What the fuck?
I dislocated this guy's jaw. Like, don't fuck with me. And I was just like, okay. Okay, I'm not gonna fuck with you. So I'm scared. Girl, that's scary as fuck. I didn't need to see that shit. I was like, I'm not doing nothing to this man. Bye. But he ends up telling Kayla to leave the room. And he was like, leave the room. I'm gonna talk to him really quick. And I was like, bro, please. And she was like, it's okay. Just like talk to him. And I was like, okay. And he sits me down. And he's like, we're gonna go back to the villa, which is where what we call their old house. He was like, we're gonna go back to the villa. And if Kayla doesn't say that she wants to fuck you, I'm going to beat her ass. And then I'm gonna beat your ass. And I was like, that's not happening. Like, you're not putting a hand on either of us, and neither of us want to fuck, though. And Kayla comes in, she has like 911 on speed dial, and she was like, I will fucking call the police if you touch him. Do not fucking do anything else to him. And he was on probation or something, so that worked out, right? So after that, I was just like, yeah, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Like, I grabbed the guy I was with, because after he let Kayla and I leave the room, I told Kayla I was dipping. And I grabbed the guy I was with, and I was like, we're leaving right the fuck now, okay? So I told Emma, I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't want to come over to your guys' house anymore until he's gone. I don't think I went back to the villa for about a month.
Yeah, that makes sense. He wants to keep himself safe.
So this message I'm about to show you is between me and Emma, and it was the day after, and it's pretty much just pause it so you can read it, but long story short, like,
Okay, so he says, help. Oh, excuse me. She says, help. What did Evan say to you? Update me. What's going on? Oh, I went in and he wants me to call you to put you OTP. I don't know what OTP is. On the phone. Okay. Because he's like, Brendan and I are good. He would agree with me. And I was like, no, babe. Like, you have it so terribly wrong. I think you should call Kayla. Why you're scaring me? I feel like Kayla doesn't even remember the extent of how bad it was, and neither does Evan. And you should just lay it out. What the fuck?
Evan wanted to call me and apologize and explain the story, pretty much, is what was happening. Here's another story that I forgot I screenshotted. This is October 24th, so 2 days after. Evan had apologized to me, and I'm going to show his apology text next. It's so fucking weak. But Evan had apologized to me, and I kind of was just like, it's cool, or whatever the fuck I said. But this is 2 days later, and Emma is telling me you can pause it to read.
Okay. I've actually never felt so alone. I don't even know what to do right now. That's what she said. I can't see what the other part is. Something up. What's up? Fuck my life. I'm not I'm like not doing okay. He says, talk to me. I don't even know where to start. Like, Evan is just actually so psycho and manipulative, and I literally don't feel sad being around him. What? He choked Kayla last night. And is this somebody else? Is this Emma? Oh, maybe he said that. He choked Kayla last night, and it was like the most traumatizing thing I've ever seen. I don't know how to even talk to her about it this morning, because he's definitely going to love bomb and manipulate his way back in. And I just feel like I'm losing everyone now, all at once. I'm so hurt. I don't even know what to do. Girl, get out of there. I'm not even kidding.
Read it. It's saying pretty much that Evan choked Kayla out, and it was traumatizing as fuck, and literally he is a manipulator, if you read that. This is Evan's weak-ass apology. Hey, brother, sorry about last night. That was a dick on my part. You're a good man. Didn't know why I lashed out. You're semi-forgiven. Just
okay. Sorry.
chill the fuck out. Now, this, once again, it's not that serious, but this is the day after. Emma and I trying to get me a +1 for party, but they didn't get accepted. And then I was like, I'm not scared of Evan anymore, LOL. Obviously, I fucking was, but I wanted to go to this fucking party. Who cares? Who doesn't want to drink after they got their shit rocked? Now, I'm going to try to speed run what happened in Hawaii. So pretty much, after I've had experiences with Evan getting so upset
Evan as a roommate,
about random things, I just know to separate myself, because sometimes for some reason, like, me being there is just not the best thing. So Evan at the beach, when we went to Hawaii, Kayla asked something like, Evan, are you going to jump off the cliff with us or whatever? I don't remember what he said exactly, but he was like, nah, not right now. And she's like, oh. And that was it. Because she wanted him to jump. And then she was also looking for someone to record them jumping off. And he was like, oh, that's all I get? Oh. And then she's like, are you serious? Like, I'm literally just asking if you want to jump off the cliff. He was like, you fucking dry pussy track showing bitch. Like, all of these crazy ass fucking things in front of the whole entire beach that we were at, the cliff that we were at. And he said something to me where he was like, Brendan, and I was like, you shouldn't have talked to her like that. He's like, Brendan, don't talk to me crazy, because I'm in a fighting mood. I hauled my ass on that moped and I drove to the end of the beach. I separated myself. My moped died there. Real ones know I was stuck there for fucking hours. But I get a phone call from Emma, and I hear him yelling at her. And Emma's like, yo, he's pushing her. He took her phone twice. And Kayla's like, I hear her on the back of him, I already gave you my fucking phone. You just went through. He's like, I don't care, bitch. Let me go through it. By the way, my name in Kayla's phone had to be Sister Brennan, because he really was like he really thought that I was a fucking threat. Anyways, long story short, I found out that he was shoving her against the wall in front of locals, and even locals had to separate them. And so this local guy, who we didn't even know, drove Emma and Kayla over to where I was at the end of the beach to get away from Evan. And Evan tracked us and found us. And then the guy was like, I will fight you if you try to touch these kids. Thank God it scared Evan off. And then,
yeah, of course it scared Evan off. Evan's a fucking pussy. Evan only fights people he thinks is weaker than him. That's literally it.
Evan tried to apologize to me and Emma, in which he said, what I'm about to play for you.
Even with it's just like, I just don't know what I'm going to do now. Like, even with my career-wise, it's like, my whole career was just traveling with my girlfriend.
Well, you have to think, too.
That was literally hours after he...
I want to see...
It was literally hours after...
Hold on a second.
Well, you have to think.
I want to see more.
I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like,
I'm going to go back if I don't get enough time. National, my family just being...
It's just like, I just don't know what I'm
around the just the people I was around really bugging and alone is very well. This is fucking horrible translation. It's just like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, even with my career wise, it's just you keep my whole career was just traveling with my girlfriend, and you have a thing too.
you know, like, even with my
What? You go into the new place every single day. It's like you're.
it's just like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do.
I can't fucking read it because this guy put something over it. Like,
It's just like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do.
You're just gonna tell them how to romanticize where you're at and when you're. What is he talking about? Why the fuck is he talking about his career?
You know, like, even with my career wise, it's like, my whole career was just traveling with my girlfriend.
But you have to think too.
That was literally hours after he put his hands on Kayla at the beach in Hawaii.
Yeah, the voicemail translation is fucking terrible.
To hear him be so concerned about his fucking career as a TikToker because he's afraid that he won't make enough money because his content was only with his girlfriend that blew up and did good. Bitch, you were never anything. You got all these followers, you did all these things and cool trips that were fully paid for by Kayla.
I wonder if there was an incentive for her to stay with him because they were making content together and she liked doing that, and that was something that might have been doing well for them. And that's just like another aspect, like almost like you're in a business, and that would obviously be like a little bit of an immature perspective, but it's okay for her to be a little immature. It's obviously not her fault that this whole situation happened, but I wonder if that was one of the things keeping them together too.
Because of Kayla, because she cared about you and liked you and loved you, never once cheated on you, never once said she'd go fuck another person to get you mad. But hey, worry about your TikTok career, right? But that's my piece on it. I guess if I have anything else to say, ask me and I'll tell you. But yeah, love you, Kayla.
Interesting. Okay, there's one more part here, so we want to go grab that. All right, this is the other TikTok.
This is quite frankly probably going to be the last video I make about the Kayla and Evan situation, because if I'm being honest, I'm tired of seeing all these videos on my For You page, which I know are on hers, and I want her to move on from this part.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. It's probably one of those things where she should say her piece and just kind of move forward and not try to get, you know, I think there's probably part of her that's feeling really good about posting about it. I'm not even, because just the money aspect, if she is monetizing it, which I don't care that she is, it's not like something that would make me feel like not trust her, but just almost like that you get the positive attention, but you're reopening that vulnerable state, and then you're talking about it more and more and more, and then you're getting positive attention, and then you're getting a really big high off of that, but then you're also going to get like negative attention sometimes, and you're going to get a really low after that. It's going to be a lot.
It's quite frankly probably going to be the last video I make about the Kayla and Evan situation, because if I'm being honest, I'm tired of seeing all these videos on my For You page, which I know are on hers, and I want her to move on from this part of her life because she deserves it, and she deserves to be happy and not reminded daily of what happened. But I understand that this is the topic right now, so what I want to do is give y'all the rest of the audio clips that I have of what Evan said in Hawaii, and then take a step back. And to people commenting about me and Emma and why we didn't call the police or do anything like that, I just want to set this out right now. There's no dream scenario for how abuse should go or how you get out of it. I'm sorry that it did not go how you guys think. Oh, I would have just called the police. It wasn't that easy, because if I'm being honest, Emma and I didn't know that there were even videos, so us calling the police for holes in the wall would have probably led to him getting fucking what? Arrested for a night, and then what? Coming back to her house and beating the shit out of her? Like, or me, or Emma, like, we were scared of this man because he put threats behind every word that he said. So now I'm going to show you guys the rest of the audio clips that I have from whenever Evan apologized to Emma and I while we were in Hawaii. But just know that he came into the room saying that he was going to kill himself. That was his threat.
Maybe he should have. I don't know. You should never do that, obviously. That's terrible, but I don't know, man.
He said he was going to kill himself that night because he felt so bad for what happened. And the rest is what I'm going to show you. There's no point in killing yourself and getting rid of that, because
It's like I already lost it, man. And
no, but you didn't, because people who lost it don't cry about it.
She told her family.
Okay, then you buck up and you get the help you need
I
to.
laid my hands on her one time, and I remember that day.
That's a lie.
She slapped the shit out of my face because I was being mean.
Okay, so they don't know the full story. This guy and Brendan and whatever the fuck the girl's name is, I forgot her name already, Emma. And he's telling him a story about how he's like worried he's losing his career, and then he's just talking about how she's actually the abusive one. That sounds like what it is, but he's worried about losing his career because I guess she told her parents or whatever.
Like vocally, so I grabbed her and I shoved her, and I didn't even know, like, and there were stairs behind, and I shoved her downstairs, and I was like, oh shit, I'm so sorry, because like I've never been to New York, I didn't know there were stairs like really by the.
This is him not remembering what he did.
At the beach, just random people.
Like random people coming up to me, like, where did you like on a
Where'd I go?
You go on your moped.
He remembers everything. There's no fucking way. I just don't believe that he doesn't remember this at all.
And that's when they're trying to call the police.
I wasn't there for that. My moped died on the beach 15 minutes away, but I heard about it, yeah.
It's like that, stuff like that shouldn't happen. If it's just us, it's typically, it's like a notebook. You ever seen a movie Notebook?
Yeah.
She said something about like the last time y'all were in Hawaii, like
Which
I wish I saw the Notebook so I knew how much of like a ridiculous comparison that was.
in Maui? We had a great time in
there
Maui.
was like somewhere like you threw your phone against the ground or something. Because somebody.
Honolulu, yeah, Honolulu.
But
It's like, yeah, I'm sure there's great times, but even like I feel like the great times are like overlooking like there's still like things like that that's like even
It's like I can't.
honestly, the next video that I'm gonna show, the audio clip is like a little like hard to like listen to for me for some reason, but it's just like him pretty much saying like I've never balled up my fist and hit her and shit like that. And mind you, at this point,
What? I've never balled up my fist and hit her? That's insane. Because what that means is that you're admitting that you hit her without balling up your fist. That's a fucking wildly like it's wild to even say that. That's fucking insane. Okay.
Kayla had finally told us about the videos and showed us timestamps, everything. So you can kind of hear the awkwardness when Emma and I were like, you're lying, but here it is.
Lay hands. I might have shoved her yesterday, but I don't actually like beat her. Yeah, like not bare. I never hit her with my fist. I slapped her.
Yeah.
I never hit her with my.
That's fucking insane. What the fuck?
That's something I would never do. And I won't even do any of that. But like hitting, it's like you gotta really hate somebody to ball up your fist and hit them.
Yeah.
Like I slapped her.
Dude, this. What the fuck? What?
And I grabbed her. But that's not okay either. And that
Oh, really? Wow, great. Great acknowledgement of that, huh?
was New York. When was that? New York? That was
New York, that was when I was like
months ago. Months.
yeah. Like but even like the night that I'm really exhausted. My eyes are like puffy.
Which night?
That you got like roofied or something and I like woke up and I came out there. Do you remember that night?
No.
It was like the night that you went to the hospital.
Seizing and shit?
Yeah, but I like woke up because I heard her scream like, Evan, get off me, Evan, get off me. Like, stop. Like, there's things that I feel like even like, they don't even recall for you because you're drunk when it happens.
I don't believe he doesn't recall it. I think he knows everything that he's doing. He's pretending that he forgot about it. It all builds into like this whole narrative that he just doesn't. He uses things as an excuse. Oh, I was on the alcohol. I don't remember because I was drinking. And like, oh, I have trauma and I have this and I have all these things in my past that caused this. And it's like, that's not my fault. It is his fault. He knows what he's doing. I think everything is calculated. It's not calculated very well because he's incredibly fucking stupid, but it's all a calculated move.
And like, you don't even remember probably, but like, I feel like even with the things that I've seen with my own eyes, like, not saying I think you like beat the fuck out of her on the daily.
Not some of that water.
Yeah. But like,
I never
I've
beat the
seen-
fuck out of her, but I shoved her, I pushed her.
Like I've seen you like get on top of her and I've seen you like do things where it's like concerning for sure because it's like that's somebody you love. It's concerning to me, to you because it's like not even that like I care about you. I don't want to see you fucking end up in jail for a fucking first-degree murder on accident.
I would never murder. Like,
No, like if you
Because-
crack your head open.
Yeah,
You gotta understand, it's like
I didn't even know
from
the
your.
stairs were behind. Like at that point, I didn't even realize it. But then I felt like I was like.
We have to understand the point of view of everything is like if something were to have happened or if someone who doesn't understand you like we do, whatever, we're gonna see it. It's just gonna be black and white. A guy on top of her pushed her down the stairs. He was drunk. He was angry. She was crying. She was scared. Arrested. Jail. Crime. You know? I want to also address that Emma and I were sweet talking him the whole.
Yeah, it sounds like they are. I'm not even gonna fucking hold them accountable for like any of that. And accountable wasn't like the right word. I'm not gonna like fucking be angry. I don't know what's going through their head. Their friend is dating this person. It's a very complicated matter. Nobody should have to deal with in a domestic abuse situation. So to navigate it perfectly is probably very difficult, you know, especially if you're not willing to just beat the shit out of the guy. Fuck.
Whole conversation because we were scared still. He was
Yeah, I
still
can imagine.
in the Airbnb. He said he was going back to Nashville that night. He came walking back to the Airbnb saying, I need to talk to you and Brennan. And we were like, what the fuck? And then he said he was going to kill himself. So like, we're kind of trying to like steer away from him getting aggravated. We're telling him the truth, but we're trying to like not raise any red flags that we know everything that we know. Because at that point, we were terrified.
I'm not just gonna, because I don't want her to think like I'm gonna go back and just party and just say fuck her, you know?
Which you did.
That's, if I truly love her, so I'm not going to like just forget. I'm going to grow myself to be the man I know I need to be.
Yeah.
And then until then, I really hope she
This
doesn't
guy saying that he's a man in any capacity is just like fucking laughable.
But at the same time, she's already perfect, really. Like,
And that's the thing. That's
No, she has a lot of healing to do as well.
Like, kind of,
From
because
him.
I was saying, like,
That was the last audio clip, but yeah, I just wanted to give more insight on the things that he kind of admitted to in those voice memos. Also, just to see.
Yeah, sure. Friends of victims have to be careful not to piss him off. Yeah, because if she's gonna stay with that person, like them going super hard could cause him to like lash out afterwards at her. Sure.
How much of a liar he is, because we've seen the videos, we've seen what he did to Kayla, and for him to try to just say, oh, I only slapped her once in New York, and that's the only thing he admitted to because he knew that there was a video somewhere about it, and he was like, that's the only time I've ever hit her, and I never socked at my jaw, I've never pushed her, I've never shoved her, I've grabbed her and I've slapped her. to say that to our faces after we had seen all the videos, that's why Emma and I were like, oh, this is a scary ass person, and we did not even know the half of it until we saw the videos. But quite frankly, my best piece of advice to everyone now is hope that Kayla gets justice for this, because this is awful, but also support her, help her heal, help her move through life, because I don't want this becoming something that defines her. You know, I've seen a lot of abuse in my life, and I've seen people heal from it, and I've seen what happens when people don't, and that's just not what I want for my friend. So please just support her through this, help her get justice in whatever way, but also help her to heal. That's it. Please just, if you have any rude shit to say it to me, bitch. I'll handle it here.
Okay. Wow, that was a hell of a fucking journey we all went through there. Jesus fucking Christ.